Hey guys, Jay, welcome back to the channel. First of all, I want to get this out of the way because I tend to forget these things. Happy holidays to everybody. Merry Christmas to everybody who celebrates it. Happy Hanukkah to everybody who celebrates that. And whatever, festivities you celebrate around this time of year. We all welcome them. It's always a great time. And thank you guys for joining us here tonight. A lot of things to talk about. And I'm not that I'm tired of it. I'm not tired of it. But I thought we'd mix it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, we're still going to talk toys. Don't get me wrong about that. But you know what? It's around this time where I kind of get melancholy, because end of the year is coming. The new year is about to turn over, and that's when I start remembering that the fact, God dang it, I'm another revolution around the sun. You know what I mean? Like, so I just wanted to reminisce on a couple of things that make me happy. I mean, this is what it's all about, right? And nothing makes me happier than talking with good friends about old cartoons that probably most of you guys, if not some of you guys, except for Jabbar. Jabbar remembers everything. So we're going to talk old cartoons which you probably forgot about, and toys which you probably didn't even know about. And to help me celebrate this, we're going to bring in some very good friends. First of all, I want to bring in a wonderful friend of the channel. He's been on here multiple times. I finally got to meet him at Legion's Con. It was incredible. He's my Filipino brother from another mother. Please help us welcome the one and only Brick Something. What's going on, Brick?
Hey everybody, good evening. Yes, and you said Legion's Con, and my brain went right back to last month, man. That was awesome. I had such a good time, but I was just telling somebody, ever since I got home, like life has moved crazy fast. But so I'm looking forward to having a little bit of a break.
It's just crazy. Yeah. Feliz Navidad, buddy.
Same to you. Maligayang Pasko, man. Merry Christmas, happy holidays, happy holidays.
To everybody out there, maraming salamat po for everybody who's just joining us. How's it been though, Brick? Like outside of I know that you're wrapping up for the holiday season at work. How have things been with Brick Something?
Oh man, things have been great. For folks who may not know, I'm a high school teacher, so today was our last day before we get a little bit of a break, and it actually was really, really good. Today was a nerdy, uplifting day. It's usually like just for like any students who didn't finish their finals or whatever. And a kid randomly came by the classroom looking for a friend, saw my toys, and he started talking to me about it. I was like, man, this collection is great. He's like, oh, do you got any Marvel Legends and Black Series? I was like, oh, that's not really my thing. There's a couple pieces here. And I just was talking to this kid. He's a 11th grader. And it was just so cool because he like totally knows all about it. He was really blown away by a lot of the things there. And I asked him, like, these like Mythic Legions, and the kid actually knew about them. So that was actually, knowing that there are young people out there that are aware, like that made my day, really. And then after that, I hung out with some kids that are actually in my class who I know have been watching some of the same anime that I do. And we watched a little bit of Dan. Don't know if you're up on that, Mega J, but yeah, life is good, man. I can't complain. And I'm looking forward to hanging out with family and doing the whole nine, my kids.
There are some anime that I really want to get in. Like I've seen Dan, and it's looking pretty crazy. It's looking pretty crazy. I gotta tell you.
Have you seen the intro? Sorry, have you
seen the intro music? Okay. I've seen the intro music. It's banging. It's definitely a banger. But it's more over just the hilarity and the absurdity. It's been a while since it's like ever since Furikuri, I haven't seen something this kind of off the wall. Gainax went out of business a couple of years ago. So I'm like, who made this? Like, which studio made this? And of course, it's based off of a manga, so it's going to be good when things like that happen. And on that note, to help us navigate through the other different little waters that are in the anime circles, and maybe he can help us with some of the anime, which was disguised as cartoons way back in the day. Guys, help us welcome Dre, the Geek Dad. Dre. What's going on, brother?
What's up, Jay?
I'm good, man. It's good to have you guys. Oh my goodness, it is a day. And Brick, I will tell you this as a fellow school teacher that I was
Uh-huh.
for 17 years.
Yep.
I taught high school, and some of my best moments were in high school with my kids that read comics, because I had a lot of kids that were more into comics and they weren't into anime at that time. And this is about like 10 years ago. Recently, when I was in the classroom pre-COVID, I was in middle school and I had a lot of kids that got into anime toys, and they were like, "You're a YouTuber?" And I was like, "Yeah, I dabble." And the kids loved it because they would, I made an anime club at school, and I would teach them Japanese, and they loved it. So I from one fellow teacher to another whose wife just finished her, and she's be happy on vacation now. So yeah, I respect you. And doing what I did, I 17 years I put my time in, so I would go
Good
back.
for you, sir.
I would go back.
I'm a little weary.
How are you doing, Dre? Like, I know we're sharing stories already, but how's everything in Dre's life? I mean, holidays, kids, how's it going?
So for the guys that don't know, I have a toddler, and she's 4. Love her, Peanut. Everybody knows her in the community, loves her to death. My wife is, like I said, she's asleep. My other teen daughter, she's asleep. But we've actually we had a great time. We went to the Charlotte Speedway for the holiday. It was like they got to see Christmas lights with music, and it was like the first time we'd ever done that. And my wife and my daughters and I loved it. We had a great time. And then, of course, I made a video I posted earlier of like what's been coming in, because I have been basically blessed by Christmas bonus, and then the wife for our anniversary. I got like a stack of 1/6 scale, a stack of 1/12, and a bunch of other stuff, and more stuff coming in, and then stuff for the holidays. So it's been fun for me. It's fun for me buying for the kids, and it's an awesome time. I'm excited.
Yeah, man. You're muted, buddy.
Me?
No.
Keep doing that. that is so great, Dre. I see you got a couple items there. You want to do some show and tell with us?
Oh no, I was gonna say, I don't know if you were reading this. Kagurabachi.
No.
Kagurabachi basically is about a father and son that make samurai swords in Japan modern era, but it's got like this whole mysticism behind it, and the father ends up dying, and it's got like, so the Yakuza were like supposedly the ones that got to him, and now it's like the story of the son and like his kind of role. I mean, this is a bunch of manga, because I read manga and my daughter reads it, so I have like, what was it, Kaiju Sakamoto Days, which I am loving it because we're getting the anime finally, and I love it because he's a heavy-set, bald guy like myself, and he's a former assassin, so I'm looking forward to seeing that animated finally.
Yeah, I saw the trailers for not only the manga, but apparently there's going to be an anime
for Sakamoto. Yeah, Sakamoto was a manga for the last 2 years, and it's now being animated.
It was illustrated by the gentleman who made Slam Dunk, wasn't it? Is that so? Yeah, I mean, he's got a very high energy, high detail, anime manga style. So it'll be interesting to see that. And is it am I the only one who wants to finish Slam Dunk? I mean, I really want that to be fully animated. I mean, like,
I don't know if they ever will. I mean, you got Kuroko's basketball, and you have like so many other like sports anime, like Ace of Diamond came out a few years ago. Prince of Tennis. I just noticed Prince of Tennis has got a resurgence, and I loved Prince of Tennis. Kaido was my favorite character. I mean, like, and I hate tennis. Like, the game of tennis to me is boring, but the anime was just so dope. And I saw the live action musicals in Japan, and I'm like, I can nerd out on all that stuff. It's so awesome.
Yeah. I know that they made a Slam Dunk movie about 2 or 3 years ago. I still have to watch it because, again, that was a really one of my favorites. Back in the day. I really wish they did finish it. The few OVAs and the series that they did, it wasn't enough. They had they needed to finish that off. I was hoping we could at least get one of those. But there have been so many other basketball animes, as you said, since then. It's been kind of crazy. Guys, how have we been? And what have you guys picked up? This is just an impromptu thing, really, because I got a couple of things that I just picked up on less than fortunate circumstances. So a little bit of story time right now. I got the notice about 3 weeks ago that 4 locations of Toys R Us are closing down here.
Oh yeah,
that breaks my heart. It completely breaks my heart. I'd never experienced this because you guys experienced it. I didn't experience it. So I actually went to one of these Toys R Us's that were closing today, and my heart just dropped. Like empty shelves everywhere. I got a video coming up. Clearances, toys on the floor, like parents scrambling around for deals because, of course, it's so close to Christmas. But it was just so heartbreaking because after speaking to some of the employees, this Toys R Us has been around for 40 plus years.
Wow.
And it's literally had 2, 3, maybe 3 generations of kids, go to the store, right? And actually experience the store and grow up with the store. And now that store has disappeared. And for me, I just had to experience it for myself, said, say goodbye in a certain way. And just like, pay my tribute to this wonderful playground. You know what I mean? Because before I went to Disneyland, that was my Disneyland. You know what I mean? Like that was the place. Like you went there because it was just easy. It was a quick enough. Yeah. Your parents could just leave you alone there for like hours on end, and just like make you drool over the toys and like dream. And maybe if you were really good or if you got good grades, maybe you got to take something home that day. You know what I mean? So it was just that crazy thing. And for us up here in Canada, we were able to hold, just like it was not so bad for us. But now actually experiencing that, it really hit me. It hit me hard. I was like, this is crazy. This is just nuts. If this is what happened in the States, people just like losing touch with Toys R Us, I can't believe it. And I can see why people were so mortified that kind of thing happened. What were your experiences? Because I'm curious now. What were your experiences with when we started losing Toys R Us? Rick, what did you think around that time?
Yeah, so around that time, I will say, like, for the pure nostalgia of it, it is kind of a bummer to know that it's gone. But by the time that they were announcing, like, oh, we're shutting down, like by that time, honestly, Toys R Us was a little bit different from when I was going there as a kid. It just seemed like it was hard, man. It's been hard for them to compete, and a lot of these retail stores to compete, with online stuff. And so I was really big into Lego, and because of that, like Toys R Us there's basically what we Lego fans would refer to as the sort of Toys R Us tax. So like I honestly would kind of stop going there. My big thing with Toys R Us, what I fondly remember is right around now, like the holiday season, because they'd basically be open 24 hours. And especially when my kids were like babies, put them to bed, everything. And I'd go like at 11 o'clock and just kind of walk around and look at stuff. So that was cool. But I don't know. I grew up, we're talking 80s cartoons tonight. I was born in the late 70s and grew up through the 80s. And man, Toys R Us was magical. Not taking away the 2000s Toys R Us or the 90s Toys R Us from anybody, but it was a good time. And, I don't know, but a little bit sad to see the brand go. Not at all happy with sort of the way they've tried to revive the brand here. It's, I was in Vancouver 2 Thanksgivings ago and got to hang out with Ken, and he took me to a Toys R Us, and that was really cool. I mean, it's really cool to kind of be able to see that whole experience. But I'll admit that I'm a little bit jaded in 2020s, where it's like I can kind of just go to Big Bad Toy Store and see these things and go like, I want one of those. And I don't got to drive down to my Toys R Us and be like, oh, it's gone. They don't have it. But anyway, not to be a downer, but that's my truth.
Yeah. But you know what? As you probably remember by seeing it with Ken, there's just this magic moment when you walk through the doors and it's just wall to wall toys. I mean,
it is
just, it's just magical. right? I mean, like,
No, there is something to be said about that. A giant warehouse filled with toys and bikes and video games. Yeah, no, I mean, it's like from bikes to trains to video games, you know. Yeah, no, totally. But I don't know. I think maybe, I don't know. I'm also, I will say, you know what I'm into, man. Between Lego and then it's like Mythic Legions,
yep,
AWOC. They
yeah.
just didn't have what I wanted.
No, this is
So
the Toys R Us, exclusives, right? They leaned into the Transformers, they
yes.
leaned into the to the other really big brands, right?
Yeah.
And but that's what it was. Toys R Us was the big guy on the block, right?
Yeah.
And now you know what? It's slowly the retail space is shrinking like crazy. So
Oh, totally.
that
It's
seems to be
wild.
the
Things
way
are
it is.
wild.
And exactly what you said, Big Bad Toy Store and other specialty stores are starting to take that market over. Dre, what are your memories of Toys R Us?
So for me, there was two that like instantly jump out at me when I think of Toys R Us. I remember very much so when my parents would go on our annual trip to Orlando, Florida, and when we would go there, we would always hit the Florida Mall, and there was a Toys R Us attached. And for whatever reason, at the time of year we would go, they would always have the new 3 3/4 Joes. And I'm talking like I remember just walking, and I was a little kid, so I remember just looking up and just seeing like I couldn't even reach the top shelf, and you just would see wall to wall Joes, and my dad would be like, "All right, we're walking out of here with the entire wave. Like, let's just grab it." And like
Yeah.
I would just be in the car, just happy,
That's
because
great.
I'd end up coming back and my friends would be like, "Hey, we didn't get that yet." And then it was like 2 months later, my friends would be seeing it. So I remember that. And that was like my little kid moment. As an adult, here in Charlotte, because I grew up in New York. That's where I had Toys R Us all over the place. And here in Charlotte, it wasn't until like I think 2016 I didn't go to it often because much like Brick said, it's like I was not really I can get whatever I really wanted. I was like anime figures. So it was like, you went to like, Ami Ami or, eBay, and or Big Bad Toys, and like I would order it there. But I remember going because I had a friend of mine who's a big fan of wrestling like myself, and they had a Toys R Us exclusive Shinsuke Nakamura Funko Pop. And I went to go buy it, and the dude just looked at me like, "We don't have it." And I was like, "Well, I want to buy two, like one for me, one for him." And he's like, "Well, you can get one." And I was like, "But I just saw your box. You have like 300. I just want two. I'll make two separate purchases." No. So I literally walked out, paid for the first one, dropped it in my car, walked back in.
Yep.
Dude was like, "No, I can't sell you another one." I was like, "Wow, WTF." And I just was like, "I'm done." And then like Toys R Us shut down and I never went back.
Yeah.
And it's kind of like we drive by it because it's right across from the mall that me and my wife don't always frequent, but when my teen wants to go there, we'll go by there. And I just see like the vacated storefront,
Yeah.
and it's like at this point, much like Brick said, in 2024, it's like I buy Hot Toys, I buy SH Figure Arts, Mafex, you're not going to have, I mean, on the occasional time that you'll have a Marvel Legend, maybe you might have something I want, but like, it's the nostalgia is gone for me. Like I do like that people can like go to like a front in a Macy's and shop there for the newer kids. But like my 4-year-old's never gonna know what like the song. And I don't know if Brick had this in California, but I know for me in New York we had Child's World, which was like the competition to Toys R Us. Like they were, I guess, the East Coast competition because they were like a castle. Their whole thing was like they were like a castle, and I remember going there to see because they had every Thundercat. Like when the Thundercats were popular, I was like, oh. And when you went to Toys R Us, they didn't even have that like whole display. But then that was also the time of catalog shopping, where you can go to like the stores, and people don't know this now. Y'all don't know this wasn't Amazon. Our Amazon was getting a big ass catalog, and your parents saying, "Pick 4 things you want." And then we would have to write the numbers down, look through pages, and you'd see the Terrordrome, and they would have all these beautiful pictures of the figures and everything, and you'd have to hope and pray your parents could get it for you.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there is stuff like that now to an extent with Target, and I'm mostly going through that with my toddler because like she'll want Bluey stuff, like she'll be like, "Papa, let's go," and I'm having more fun doing that for her than I would like doing it for myself. So, I guess that's what happens when you have kids. It's like you start, it's like Brick said, it's like I still love my toys and I love playing with them, but it's just like I don't feel the same way as like seeing Rory, and I get excited. Like if I see a figure set that we don't have for Bluey, my wife laughs because she's like, "Oh my God, you're like Andre, you're so animated." I'm like, "Oh, we didn't get these 2 figures. I'm glad we got this." And my wife's just like, "You would fight somebody." I'm like, "Yes, I will kick a grandma if she takes these figures from Rory. Like Peanut needs her toys," and that's I'm getting what my parents probably felt like when they had to hunt down like a Turbo Man, to like get that. So
yeah, no, I heard on the radio the other day, sorry, I think it was earlier today, that parents will spend more if their kids believe in Santa Claus. And the reason that happens is because they don't want to disappoint their children that they're not going to get something for Santa Claus this year. I think that's what I've heard. Now, of course, it's changed a little bit depending on how old your kids are. It's going to be iPads, or it's going to be some sort of electronics or video games, right? But it's still the same idea. Like they will spend for their kids, and I think that's a big thing, right? And again, we want our kids to be the ones who pass on our legacy, right? Huge shout to Mac Baby. Thank you so much for the $5 super chat, my friend. 80s kid here. Just recently bought my entire Silverhawks series. That's awesome, dude. Oh my gosh. Volume 1 is easy to get. Volume 2 is hard to get. I missed this in the 80s. Was this the VHF or UHF? Please advise, and any other shows in this, brother. We're going to talk all about that tonight. As a matter of fact, we got a lot of people chiming in. I mean, we got Tidarium Hangers in the house. Toys R Us is way overpriced here in the States, but wow, Canada is priced on Mars. Yes, honestly. So there's a big reason for that. Mike, good to see you, brother. Guys, if you haven't already, please subscribe to Tidarium Hanger. Wonderful retrospectives on toys, wonderful looks, deep dives into some of the greatest 80s toy lines and cartoon toy lines that we've seen in a while. And of course, he is a Star Wars aficionado as well as getting right into G.I. Joe. So definitely head over to Tidarium Hanger, give him a like and a follow, tell him that we sent you. The reason that Toys R Us here went astronomical with their pricing is because they actually got bought out by another entity, Sunrise Records, and Sunrise decided to do a stupid thing. It just all of the adult collectibles, if they thought it was adult collectibles, they decided to put a 15% tax on top. But basically, what I mean by tax is they hiked everything up another 15%. Right. It was crazy.
It's like that Lego tax. It's like the Toys R Us Lego tax.
Yeah.
It sounds like FYE here, because FYE here does that. Like if they think it's a collectible that people are going to want to buy, they'll jack it. Like a Marvel Legend at FYE was like $40.
Yeah, I think. I know. I think FYE and Sunrise have some sort of affiliation. It must be something along those lines. So yeah, go ahead. Brent.
Oh, I was just gonna say, as far as like the nostalgia, and it'll bring us back to some of the cartoons that I know this particular trio is going to talk about. I was in Japan last summer. Talk about like that was the closest. My brain totally went back to like those kiddo Toys R Us days, going through what's it called, a big camera. Big camera, which is basically like it's like the equivalent of like a Best Buy here, but they've got like if Best Buy had all the dope toys, like there's a Bandai section, there's everything, there's American toys, there's Mafex, so it was like all there in one place. There's a gigantic Lego section, the gigantic video game section, Nintendo stuff. It's like walking around and looking at a bunch of SH stuff, other Bandai stuff. I said Mafex. What else was there? Man, it was awesome. And then of course, like even the what do you call them? What's the Bandai's line with the
Tamashi?
No, more like the vinyl.
I know what you're talking about too, like the Ultraman, the Godzilla.
Yeah, and just seeing them all there because the displays are awesome. You walk through and they're all on display. Like that's the difference that I didn't necessarily like. I remember. In some aisles in Toys R Us, they'd have the figures out of the box and kind of set up, or they'd have the big displays up on this towards the top of the aisles. But this was like all eye level. Just I spent hours inside this store just looking at everything, like things I'd see online. Like that's the magic of it, right? Is that it's not like just shopping on some online store. I could actually see it, and everything is out. It was great, man. That was the closest thing. Plus, they constantly have these like jingles playing. So by the end of it, I was like constantly seeing that little jingle. It's the same, like, you know, you'd walk around Toys R Us and they'd play the commercial song and stuff. So yeah, so like Mandarake, someone just mentioned. Like that's like, if I want to look at old school stuff, like vintage stuff from the US, vintage stuff from there, man, like all the stuff that we're going to talk about. I know some of the stuff you've got in that thumbnail. You know, looking at you, Dragoon, like that's the kind of stuff you'd find at Mandarake. Like I went to I did 2 or 3. I went to 3 of them. And man, yeah, it was fun. Anyway, that was the closest I've had to going back to that like nostalgia, childhood nostalgia moment of going to a Toys R Us. So
absolutely, and not to make anybody cry, but here's a sneak peek as to what we're going to be taking a look at next time.
Nice.
Not nice. Not nice.
Well, it's that storefront. You know, there is that nostalgia.
No, I'm talking about what I mean. That's not nice, but I mean,
hey man, you can get all the fixtures for 50%. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh my god! I mean, this is just sad. I mean, take a peek inside. Like it's empty. Like all the aisles are gone, right? And then if
you get your Iron Man costume for next year.
Oh my god! Look at this. Look at how empty this place is.
Yeah, it's funny. Someone had mentioned that Lore Legends was back. I sent that to the Clubhouse folks the other night. I was like, hey, check it out, new video from her. Yeah. And she was also in a Toys R Us, and it was the same thing. And I just figured it was a holiday thing. They were pretty bare too. I don't know if that one's closing down, but it's also the holidays, so that was pretty bare as well.
That compared to this is nothing. I mean,
no, this is you could totally tell they're shutting this down. Yeah, no, I get it.
Look, like there's cordoning off sections. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's so sad.
Yeah, I walked into the one here as they were kind of closing out. It was definitely sad because it's like when it's like the Wizard of Oz thing, right? When he kind of reveals that it's just like some dude behind the curtain.
Look at all
you
the
start
toys
to
on
see
the floor.
like, yeah, you see like broken toys. You see like signs of like, here, buy the hangers, buy the whatever, buy the fixtures.
Everything must go.
Everything must go. Buy some file cabinets. I remember seeing like rolls of tape, and it was just like, oh, like someone like turned on the lights in the club and you see all the like sticky stuff on the floor.
Yeah. I mean, look at the games house, completely gone.
Oh, that
like,
Monopoly
little
stuff
displays,
on the floors,
right?
dope.
Like,
I would buy that carpet for sale.
Oh, no, it's not a carpet. It's a vinyl
it's
sticker.
Like a sticker, yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. So it's much higher graphics, but I mean, like, it was just surreal. You know, and you'd find like random toys, which was probably part of somebody's stash underneath the floorboards. You know what I mean? It was crazy.
Yeah, right? I do.
Yeah, man. Like everything, 40% off. Like it was just a sad state of affairs, man.
Bright side, and not on your side of the country, but what's that? The big huge store in the Vancouver side.
You're gonna have to be a little bit more specific.
It's like a Toys R Us times 2, and it's like all amazing figures.
Is it a corporate store or is it a family?
No, it's a family-owned store. They've got like Ewoks on the wall. They've got like
what you're talking about. I don't know the name. Ken is in the chat.
Still here. Ken. Yeah, Ken, remind me. Where did you take me, man?
Because
something city, but
Mac Baby, thank you again for the super sticker, my friend. So great to thank you so much, Jay. Please give me your top 10 cartoons growing up. We're gonna get to that. As a matter of fact, I want to just acknowledge everyone who's hanging out with us tonight. Guys, thank you so much for that. You guys are freaking amazing.
I'm ready, guys. I'm ready. Let's go.
Let's say hi to everybody. Yeah, 7 more cartoons, baby. 7 more cartoons. Grab that bowl of cereal. We're gonna be doing this. Jabbar Robbins, of course. Finally. A live stream that's right up my alley, bro. You're gonna kill us with all your toy knowledge, your cartoon knowledge. JTYW27. Good evening, Jay and Chad. Good evening, my friend. Good to see you. Toy Connections in the house. Hopefully, Ken will be able to join us soon. Frankie Rivera's in the house. What's going on, Frankie? What you up to, brother? Some dude named Dre. Of course, he's in the house. What's going on, Dre? Dave Sanelli's in the house, and here's Jay. Xerxes666. What's going on, brother? Is going to conquer the world. Frankie Rivera again, opening like a month worth of toys, catching up right now. Jeez Louise, A month worth of toys. Joyous Kwanzaa. Yes, okay. If anyone those celebrating Kwanzaa, joyous Kwanzaa to you. Let's see here. Brick. Yes. Ken recognizing the brick something in the house. Mother Slug is in the house. What's going on, brother? Happy holidays to you too, my friend. Rhea Black is in the house. What's going on, Rhea? It's never the right time unless Rhea actually pops in. Good to see you. Mike, Tidarian Hanger, of course. Sup, Rick? Sup, Jay? Welcome back to Laura Legends. Yes. So we are so happy to welcome back Laura Legends to the toy space. She disappeared for almost a year. Actually, a little bit over a year now that I think about it. And we're glad that she's okay. My biggest concern was she all right? I wanted to find out if she got hurt or something, you know. I think that was for me, that was the biggest concern. I was less worried about, you know, the toys and whatever. I was more concerned about her well-being. But it looks like she's fine. It looks like she actually has been hoarding while she was gone. So it's going to be fun to catch up with the legend herself. Justin Mohan, what's going on, brother? Always good to see Justin in the house. Rodimus Prime, 1982. I recently finished Kamen Rider version 3 on Blu-ray. That is a great collection, brother. Awesome collection. Dre's a fan.
Big time.
Dre is a fan. Dave Sanelli, Dre looks like Jackson Galaxy.
If that's a cool person, I don't know person. I always called the Big Show because I was bald. I was like 280 pounds. I'm 226. I'm happy now, but I used to be like bigger, and I'm 6'2". I'm like 6'1" with like the goatee. So they always be like, "Well,
that is the Big Show to a T." Rodimus Prime. Discotheque bringing out the original Japanese version of Saber Rider and the Star Sheriffs. Ooh, Bismarck. Love it. Star Musketeer. Bismarck. I love Bismarck. Bismarck is good. And as a matter of fact, we were going to talk about that too. Joel Robbins. Who remembers Superbook and the Flying House? Oh my God. You're bringing back some repressed memories, brother. They're biblical anime, and they were honestly my very first introduction into anime. Yes, I remember many of those biblical anime cartoons. Davy and Goliath? Who remembers Davy and Goliath? Come on. Well, you got to remember Davy and Goliath, man. That was a come on, Davy. Damn dog. Dollbase, good morning, or wherever you are, all the way from Sweden. Good morning, my friend from Sweden. We're getting some international viewers here. By the way, I want to ask everybody: is everybody getting translations like I am? Apparently, my videos now are being translated into multiple languages, but audio. Like they're actually audio languages, and I'm hugely thankful to YouTube for that. I think it's a great opportunity. So let me know if you guys ever watch it in different languages. I would really be interested to find out. Frank Rivera, man, that's a shame. I know the feeling. I miss Toys R Us here in the States, brother. I'm so sad. I am very, very sad. Tidarian Hanger says, Frankie Rivera, what's going on? I already read this one from Mike. Good to see you, brother. Once again, Mac Baby, thank you again for the $5 super sticker. You are incredible. Grego, time scales in the house. Greeting from San Fran. Of course, we got another San Frantonian here, so good to see you guys. You like that one, do you, Rick? Rodimus Prime, 1982. I still miss Toys R Us, but I have a small toy store near me called Red 5 Toys, so it's nice having a toy store. That's awesome, dude. Right? Support the small business owner, please do. Mother Slug, closest Toys R Us in New Jersey is the American Dream Mall. Yes, I really wanted to visit that while we were in while we're at Legion's Con. I wanted to take a detour. Never had the chance though. It was just too far away. New Jersey is a big state too, so it was hard to get out, and we didn't have that much time. All Macy's Toys R Us inserts are gone. Oh my God, really? No, they all disappeared. Lionel Kitty City was what I grew up with which was the same size as Toys R Us. Wow, there are many competitors, right? Just like what Dre said. Dre said, was it Castle Toys or something?
Yeah, it was. We had Child World in New York. So I know New York, New Jersey had Child World. We had Toys R Us, and when I lived in the Bronx, which is one of the 5 boroughs. If for anybody that's in the chat that remembers Lionel Kitty, I remember there just being one. It was in the hood. It was this big bright rainbow with like an animal face in the middle. That's what I remember. And I remember like I never went in it, but I remember seeing it one time.
All right. I, of course, did not have anything like that. I had a place called Toys, which was this gigantic place, which is freaking amazing. That is Purple Bear. The whole thing was themed purple. So that was the closest thing I had to that. But yeah, big competitors to Toys R Us, of course. Tadermy Hanger. Here we go. Mike's beginning his list. Here we go, guys. I'm going to take a big breath of this. Bionic 6, Centurions, Dungeons & Dragons, Spiral Zone, and live action Captain Power and the Soldiers of the Future. Awesome. Great shows overall. That's amazing. We're going to get through many of these, guys. Timescales. Grego, what do we got here? Our Toys R Us was in Santa Ana. Each year, our grandma would let us fill the whole shopping cart, and it would really upset our mom. That's awesome. That's awesome. I'm so glad.
That's near where I grew up, Jay. So I grew up in Southern California, in Downey, California. My main, I was gonna say Disneyland. My main Toys R Us was in Cerritos, California. I don't know if have you ever heard of Cerritos by any chance?
I'm gonna say no.
Okay, only because I live in San Francisco, South City. Daly City is like near here is the second highest concentration of Filipinos outside of the Philippines.
Damn, I should know that then.
There's a place in Jersey that I'm forgetting, and then Cerritos is sort of the equivalent in Southern California. Gotcha. But that's where it was there, and there were a couple of them. But Santa Ana's nearby. That's Orange County, close to Anaheim, Disneyland.
Gotcha. Yeah,
I used to go to that one too and hunt.
I knew about Orange County in California, which is why I kind of get confused whenever they talk about OCC choppers, which that's in like a New Jersey or something, or wherever it is, right? So that always gets confusing sometimes. But got to remember, the Springfield is everywhere, so can't.
Yeah, no, totally. There's an Orange County by Dre too, or not by Dre, but when Dre would go to Disney. That's the other Orange County.
Yeah, when I used to go to, if I went to Orlando, there was there was Orange County. Where my son lives now, he goes to school in upstate New York, and going towards Jersey, because there's you have the Tappan Zee Bridge, which was what connects Jersey to New York. When you'd cut across to where American Dream Mall is, that's where American Dream Mall is. That area is not that far, like another 20, 30 miles away was the Choppers facility.
Gotcha. I don't know if you skipped it, Jay, but did you catch? Was it JTW 27 Toy Traders? That was the shop in Vancouver.
I read a couple. Actually, no. I'm probably still catching up to that. Honestly, we're all over.
It's by Mac Babies super chat. I thought you already.
It's the original one. Okay, maybe I did miss it.
No, keep going. I guess there's another. Yeah, maybe you have another super chat. I don't know.
Yeah, I did. It was a $2 super sticker.
There you go.
Same thing for Mac Baby. All right, so we're gonna say hi to everybody we haven't said hi to, guys, because there's.
Yes.
Thank you guys
for
being here tonight. You guys
I'm
are
eat some cereal.
Jarhead's in the house. Grew up in a small town, no Toys R Us. Woolworths was what I got when I was when I got my toys in the 80s. We had Woolco, which was a British department store, and Walmart. Basically, anything with a W they bought out. It was crazy. So yeah, they pretty much took over all those locations.
Sorry, that took me back to Jarhead. I was a Woolworths kid. I was a Gemco kid. There were all sorts of little stores near me in Southern California, but Woolworths is particularly good for GI Joes. I remember as a kid.
Absolutely. Doll Base again. One thing that seems to have changed the adult toys, but for then, not now, just for kids. Yes, I think that's the biggest thing. I mean, nostalgia is a big thing, and it's made a lot of money for toy companies, but it also shows how you can't just keep shoveling crap to adults. We know better. So we might get hooked a little bit, but eventually we figure it out. Mighty D18. I remember looking through the Bible. Good for you, brother. Let's see here. Here it is. JTW 27. Yodobashi in camera is also awesome. So there's another wonderful Japanese store. Timescale saying, do you mean Akibahara in Tokyo? That's the geek and manga cosplay center of the universe. And extremely expensive. It's like a freaking tourist trap. You don't necessarily want to go there. They're probably super places.
I hear what you're saying, Jay. But man, this summer and now, because the US dollar's strong, man, it was dangerous times.
Oh yeah,
Even
it's
Akihabara, like, it was just that there were some good things. You were mentioning Kamen Rider earlier. I came home with a lot of SIC stuff. So anyways,
It's all good.
times.
Sharing our memories here, man. Shao Kahn, what's going on, brother? How you doing tonight? Madarake, of course. We were talking a little bit earlier about that. Dollhouse, how was the prices on the in stores in Japan?
Cereal mouth. Again, the US dollar was good. The reason Big Camera also will do this thing where they do tax-free if you buy over a certain thing, and if you use a credit card, a Visa, and I forget what else, they also give you another discount. So it was just like by the time you total all that up, it was really good. Like, I could get like an SH figure for like a little over like $32 maybe.
Oh, get out.
It's like I wasn't, I kind of tend to stay away from them, but I was really tempted because this was when the Kaiju number 8 stuff was hitting this summer. But yeah, I went a different route. I went, like I said, an older line, Bandai's SIC stuff that's not that popular anymore. So I found a bunch of old stuff and some newer stuff, some of the newer writers. But anyways, they're decent, man. Like way better than here, obviously. Like I came home with, anyways. Yes, I know we're talking old cartoons, but
Jungle Surugaya Lashinbang. Lots of secondhand places to find you and great old stuff. That's awesome, man. That's freaking great. Let's see here. Mother Slug. Jay, gotta go and just collect Toys R Us plastic bags. In 20 years, they will be worth $100 a bag. LOL. No, they won't. No, they won't. They will be sentimental, but think about at best 50 cents a bag for sure. Let's see here. Anybody else we haven't said hi to yet? Night Train is in the house. Hail to the chat. Hail to the Night Train. Thanos Copter, what's going on, brother? How you doing? Caboodles in the toy store in Vancouver is not that big, but it is family owned. Tatum Hanger, what's Brick eating? I bet it's healthy. It is not. It is about the most unhealthiest thing you can imagine. It feigns to believe it's healthy.
Well, listen, Trader Joe's makes it healthy because it's right there. It's all the vegans and all the health nuts go there. That's what makes it. So even if it's still bad, it's still good.
It's maple for my Canadian friends.
There you go.
Real quick, I need to go back. Just you're right. Like, hey, I lament the loss of this brand that definitely was a huge nostalgic thing. But man, Toy Traders, if you haven't been there, if you ever get to the west coast of your country, Jay, that place is amazing. Like to me, it was like you mentioned, like Toys R Us kind of being like Disneyland. This is literally, they have like life-size Ewoks hanging from the wall. They've got this ridiculously huge G.I. Joe display with like multiples of the vehicles up on the walls. Like, man, Ken was just sort of touring me around, and it's, family owned. It's I don't know. It's a different experience to me. Like that was like that. This is an amazing experience. So check out Toy Traders if you've got, if you're access to it on the west coast of Canada. And then the other one was like ages 3 and up.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So it's like there's like really good like small stores that really need the support too. Just like Toys R Us had its day. There's something to be said about these indie shops and indie toy makers, and that could definitely use our support.
Yep. Someone, Jay, loving this topic. We're trying to get there, brother. Let's see here. Jarhead, what are you looking forward to next year? Honestly, I am looking forward to new opportunities. Lots of things that are happening. There's some. I'm looking forward to my cats there finally showing up at my door. I hope. I'm looking forward to a lot of crazy things that are going to be happening. But of course, just being able to hang out with you guys, being able to hang out with Brick, maybe seeing each other at Toylanta. I don't know, we're hoping to do more conventions. You know what I mean? I want to see Dre at a couple of cons. And Toylanta Toyland might be the place.
Joe Fest. If
Joe
you
Fest.
said you're hitting Joe Fest, I
We're
already
hitting
told
Joe
you
Fest.
I will be there at Joe Fest. So you
We're
will
hitting
tell
Joe
me,
Fest.
Brick, you're going to be there. I will see you there too.
I'm not sure yet.
Yeah.
Summers
But
are tricky.
if you guys want to see any of us, definitely check out some of the conventions. We'll let you know if we're going to be there. Randall Gazeeg. Sorry about the true closing in Ontario, brother. It is what it is, man. But luckily, it's only 1 or 2. Hopefully, the rest of them will survive. We'll see what happens. Ramos Prime, 1982. How much? I wonder how Michael Mercy is taking Toys R Us closing in Canada. I feel your pain here is still in the U.S. I think it's only happening in Ontario for the most part. I think that because we saw Laura Legend, just happily hanging out at her Toys R Us. So, she's a huge Toys R Us supporter. So, it's big. So, JTW 27. Yeah, on BC, I know 2 Toys R Us that closed. Oh, I didn't know that. Ouch. One of them made sense. No, that was last year. That was 2 years. That was 3 years ago. Sorry, as they built a brand new one, really, really close by. Yes. So I do know about that big one. That was unfortunate. Mother Slug. I can't remember our childhood cartoons. I really don't remember any being on. What? That's unfortunate, brother. That is unfortunate.
Huh.
We're gonna remind you tonight. I think maybe we'll be able to jog your memory. I think that's what it is.
And also, we got to ask when were you born? Because I think that also matters.
Never ask a person when they're not.
No, I ask it all the time. I
don't
embrace
care.
my age. 48, baby. Gonna be 49.
I'm 46, and I'm going to be 47 coming up.
Yeah.
To me, when you have students in the classroom that are like, "Hey, Mister, how old are you? Are you married? You have kids?" Trust me, you get used to it.
Chad Stewart, just got here. I miss Pac-Man, Saturday Supercade, Thundar, the Barbarians, and the Inhumanoids. Great choices. Great choices. Speaking of Pac-Man, has anybody watched Secret Level yet? Because honestly, holy crap!
I've only seen 3. I haven't gotten to the Pac-Man yet.
When you get to Pac-Man, it's a whole nother level, man. That one.
I've heard a little bit about it because of someone's custom photo, but
J Solo Arts, trust me, Brick, you're gonna enjoy it. All my first Joes came from Woolworth. Memories of my dad. That's awesome, dude. That's what we're here to talk about. We're here to talk about all this great stuff that we all remember. Randall, in Arizona, you got toys. I got toys at Kmart. TG&Y Spouse Ritz, Gibson, Osco Drugs, the Thrifty Drug, Woolco. I love Woolco, my favorite. KB Toys, Lionel Play World, Toys R Us, Size Store, Merv's, JCPenney, Sears, Montgomery Ward's, and they all sold. They sold all GS. What's GS again?
They sold all GS.
Yeah, what's GS? Somebody help me here.
That's a good question because I was thinking I good stuff.
Good stuff. Maybe it's good stuff. They all sold good stuff. Okay, we're gonna go with good stuff until Randall's ready to tell us what he's talking about.
Man, a lot of those names totally brought me back.
Oh yeah, Montgomery Ward, dude. That hit me right in the nostalgia. That was from when my mom was a kid.
Mervin's open. Some Thrifty ice cream, man. Good times.
All right, here we go. Dollhouse. Well, in Sweden, the currency is low. I guess everything is expensive for us. And very much so the same here in Canada. We're right there with you. Andrew Davis. What's going on, brother? Delivery of Lionel and Roboskull today. What do I open up first, brother? Take your time. It's Christmas.
Lion-O. I'm biased. I want to see the Mondo.
SA, what's going on, my friend? Jay, please bring back your mini reviews of old cartoons. Please do Captain Future or Spiral Zone. You know what, brother? We're gonna relive some of the Jay's memories tonight, and we're gonna test the knowledge of Brick Something and Dre. We're gonna find out how much they know. Jay Solo Arts. I got my first G.I. Joe Stalker in 1982 from Woolworths with my dad. Man, I'm holding on to the classified retro Stalker. Great Christmas feels, brother. Yeah. Merry Christmas to you, brother. I'm so glad everyone's remembering their.
I love that old figure. That Stalker was one of the first that I got, man. That and Zap.
So good.
Oh, so good.
Wait, no. I know, right? No way. Wait, is that in Canada or is that?
That's here in the States. I read the article.
Oh my God, are you serious?
My wife and I read the article today. They're actually here in Charlotte. The one that used to be across from a Walmart. Like it's been slowly dying, and I had a friend that used to work there, and now like the article was released today that they're closing all their stores effective before the end of this year, starting like January 1st.
the retail space really has taken a hit. I think
Oh,
that
yeah.
the pandemic killed it. It's just everybody Amazon just massively grew. So did any of the online stores, all the toy stores. Everything. It was just crazy, just absolutely crazy. My condolences. That's crazy. Party City is a great place. I was there for Halloween. I did a couple of videos. It was nuts. Mother Slug 2025 is going to suck for anyone ordering something outside of America. Tariff tax is going to be a huge kick in the stomach to anybody. Yeah, it triggered an election here.
Yeah.
Triggered an election up here.
Let's stick to cartoons and toys tonight.
I know,
Otherwise, I'm going to get miserable.
Yeah, we can make that another video of our adult misery with like, oh yeah, we buy Hot Toys and SH and all that. Yeah,
absolutely. Andrew Davis, stop playing Brick. Joe Fest is a must in 2025. You know what? It really is a lot of fun. Just catching up with so many. You guys are going to love it. You guys are going to be absolutely through the moon. Oh my God, SA Zellers was the place to buy for toys, dude. You're right. But at the same time, Zellers was just an absolute terror in terms of its overall layout. It was so bad. But that's where I first saw Eternia for the very first time. So I do have some fond memories of Zellers. Grego, Star Trek, the animated series, will be showing in California in the 1980s. Good stories, but every episode had the exact same music, which was weird. Not really. We are talking about the age of rotoscoping and some crazy episodes, man.
And Filmation, man. Yeah, they and I don't see this as a slide. They were like super creative in terms of their reuse. And they were really clever.
Absolutely, 100%. All right, so we're going to wind it down here because we want to get started. But I will say, Chad Stewart, pole position, Dragon's Lair, Space Ace, and Jason the Wheeled Warriors. That's right. We're going to talk about Jace. Absolutely. Let's see here. Okay, Rauner's Prime. In the 80s, Springfield, Massachusetts, we had Toys R Us, Child's World, KB Toys. There's another singer. Holy crap. Let's see here. Tidarium. Zap Thumbs, still there. Really? Wow. I did not know that. Jarhead, remember my grandma buying packs of Muscles figure. Oh, wow. Muscles. Over at Woolworths. Great stuff.
Oh, I still got mine.
That is so good. SA, please tell them the glory that was, dude, it wasn't that glorious. We will get into it, but there was some. That's where I used to play Street Fighter there. How's that? Does that make any sense? Let's see here. Here we go. Randall Gazee. A teacher as well. I'm 51. The Saturday was my day from 5 a.m. to noon. Too many great shows to ever mention. It was great until TNBC, the government getting involved. Fox and CW saved Saturday mornings. That's awesome, dude. Great memories all around. We got a lot to talk about. Optimus Prime. Let's see. Christmas Day, Optimus Prime in 86. G.I. Joe, Phantom Jet in 87. G.I. Joe Thunderclap in 1990. I love that set. Congratulations. Those are some great Christmas memories, my friend. Thank you for sharing. Randall Gazig, that's good stuff. Big Lots is shutting down. What? Big Lots is shutting down too? Get the heck? Are you serious?
That's where I got a lot of my toys too. But when it was called Pick and Save, we had an uncle who managed the Downey Pick and Save, and he would hook us up. They were already like clearance. They were clearance, basically a clearance store, and we get even bigger discounts on top. That's how we ended up with like some Jason the Wheeled Warriors and little Metal Eagle Forces, just because they were like dirt cheap. My parents were like, sure, you can have those.
That's crazy because Big Lots, when I went to a Big Lots here, and this was about almost 5 years ago, right before Rory was born. I remember walking in there because I was looking for the wrestling ring from the Walmart exclusive that was Motu and WWE. And they were like selling, everybody was like, oh, you can get it for like $10. I walked in, I saw it. It was like, they literally had marked it up to like retail at what Walmart was. I was like, but you're like clearance. And then like, I looked at all the other toys and they were so expensive. And a bunch of the local collectors here in Charlotte were saying that some Big Lots managers were noticing like people coming in with their cameras filming and grabbing the deal. So what they did was they reached out to their corporate offices and their district managers to mark up collectibles and get it. So that way, like, cause you can go in there and get like groceries and like a sofa,
Mhm.
but like anything that was like deemed an adult collectible, like any of like if they had a WWE Ultimate or any of the Elite figures, they were like regular retail price. They weren't like anything cheap. It was like $18. I'm like, that's what, $3 cheaper than Target. I mean, I can just go to Target. It didn't make sense to me.
Just crazy, man. Just crazy. Okay, so we're gonna get these last few comments in here. Oh my gosh, Mac baby, thank you again, my friend. That's you. You are amazing, my friend. My dad bought me Jetfire at Kmart. Oh my god, that's so awesome. $40 and nachos. I miss my dad. I played the heck of that toy. I brought it to show and tell in the 4th grade. Amazing memories, brother. Thank you for sharing. Like, you know what? Hold on to those memories, brother. Hold on to those.
Yeah,
memories.
man. Did you get an icy too?
I
Love
know.
the ices at Kmart. Sorry.
So good. Yeah. The little was it with the hush puppy or was it with another one?
I'm sorry.
Slush
Icy
puppy.
were
Sorry,
like
slush
a
puppy.
slurp. Yeah. Slurp.
Yeah,
They
Well,
were
no,
like
the mascot
7-Eleven
was
had
the dog.
Slurpees.
Yeah.
It was the dog. Was a hush puppy.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was a polar bear.
It was a
No.
slush. It was a slush puppy.
Yeah, the slush puppy. That's what it was. Because I
it was a
remember,
slush-
like here on the East Coast anyway. It might have been different out West Coast. I know on the East Coast it was a little dog at Kmart because that's what I remember seeing it.
Yep. Q called Kid Video. Holy crap, Kid Video. Oh my god.
That theme
Oh
song,
my
man.
God.
That was so
That was
like
just-
wannabe 80s. To the
No, it wasn't wannabe 80s. It was 80s. That was
It was, but it
pure-
was like the anyway. Sorry,
It was a kitsch. It was kitsch 80s. It was so
it was
kitsch.
the Hollywood
It was
kid
not even
version
funny.
of
And you had the freaking kids in live action doing the thing, and
Yeah.
it was
sucked
crazy.
in the cartoon
It
world.
was so awesome. Serious talk. Respect to all the teachers. Thank you, brother.
Hey, thank you.
Val Dog, what's going on, brother? Jace. It's Jace. It's Jace and the Wheeled Warriors. I still have them in the basement, dude. You are good stuff. Good stuff.
Those are some good toys, man. I
Those are.
really appreciate the sculpts on the plant ones. As a kid, I was like, wow, these are really cool.
J Solo Arts talking about playing Street Fighter. I just opened up DJ from Jada. Woo, great figure. Great figure.
I don't know if I said this earlier, but that kid that I met today, that 11th grader, he was saying like, yeah, I've been really wanting those Street Fighter figures. I couldn't find them. That's awesome. He found Fei Long, and I was like, yeah, really? Well, first off, it was one of the cheaper figures in the thing. So to be honest about it, but I was like, here, take it, and I gave him my Fei Long, and he was that kid was like, yeah, it was happy holidays, man. Just glad to know there's young people who like toys.
Absolutely. We need more of those. Baldog. I still have a few Silverhawks, bro. Hold on, those are gold, man. Those are gold. If they still have some silver, on them, you are sitting on a pile worth its weight, my friend. Jabbar Robbins. Speaking of Ewoks, Brick. Who remembers the Ewoks and the Droids cartoons? This guy.
There's a comment I replied to him. I was just talking to someone last night about the drummer from the Police wrote the Droids theme song. Stuart Copeland.
That's crazy. All right, here's one. What Saturday morning TV show was the first to feature Allosaurus and T-Rex in the same episode?
Marshall, Will, and Holly on a routine expedition. I'm assuming he's talking about Land of the Lost.
He didn't say cartoon, so I'm going to go ahead and say yes. I believe he is talking about Land of the Lost. But I will say that Dino
he said wrong.
No, really? Dino Riders.
I was thinking. I had 3 things to go through. I was Dino Riders. Oh God, what was it? Cadillacs and Dinosaurs.
Cadillacs and Dinosaurs. Yeah.
And there was oh God, what was it? There was the one that was a rocker. The dinosaur that was a rock star. I can't.
If it's any of those, Land of the Lost was first.
Oh yeah, of course.
And
I don't know.
Maybe thinking Denver, the Last Dinosaur. But I'm thinking Dino Saucers. If anybody remembers Dino Saucers. Mother Slide. Icy the Polar Bear was Kmart. Ah, that's right. Now I remember Icy the Polar Bear. I do remember Icy.
That's what I thought. He in his little like turtleneck sweater. Red.
Mandela effect.
Ooh, Smurfs and Mr. T cartoon. Nice. The Mr. T cartoon was pretty damn cool. All right,
like gymnasts or something. They were like U.S. gymnastics.
Yes,
they were spies, right? Weren't they spies? They were like the gymnast team. Yeah.
They were spies. I think they were using it as cover, but they were competing. I think.
Oh, okay.
Beverly Hill Teens. Oh man, it's another repressed memory. Jeez Louise. And Dave Sinelli says, "Journey to the Center of the Earth, Frozen Furries."
Oh, that's I don't know what that is.
Okay. All right, so we got a lot of great gems, but let's see if we can stump Brick and Dre. But before we get started, let's see which of the favorite. Let's see what everyone's favorite 80s cartoons that maybe we haven't heard about. So, Brick, try to give us some zingers. What are some of your favorite 80s cartoons that maybe people have not heard about? Go for it.
Okay. This is really tricky because you say 80s and sometimes I get blurred between the late 70s. So like
Let's do
people
70s.
about
Go for 70s.
cool. So like when people are talking about Thundar, right? That's like some great
We'll
Ruby
talk
Spears stuff.
We'll talk reruns. We'll talk syndication. So go for it. I mean, like that.
Right, but even before then, I'm going to like Hanna-Barbera, like the Herculoids, like all of that. That whole like world was awesome. I love that stuff.
Yeah.
You're just asking other
just like you talk about Herculoids. Somebody already mentioned Thundar the Barbarian.
Right. Like Shazam was an earlier sort of Alex Toth design Hanna-Barbera cartoon that I don't hear enough people talk about because I just really want to see more Jins. Let's see, what were some other ones? Somebody already mentioned Spiral Zone. I just got to say those are some of the best toys. The Japanese ones were some of the most amazing toys. What were some other weird rarities? Captain N, which was later, but I don't hear enough people talking about them because they were kind of weird designs. If you knew what Samus Mega Man looked like or Mother Brain looked like, and then you saw that cartoon, you were kind of like, but I had a lot of fun with Captain N. What are some other weird, obscure ones? People already kind of said them. Bionic 6, Jason the Wheel Warriors. I don't know if people remember a Highlander cartoon. That was a French animation joint. Love that.
That was beautiful. I love that one.
I loved all the Marvel stuff. Tony Stark, man. All that stuff. Captain America. All of those were like really old. Those are like 60s, but we still saw them over and over. And you already mentioned Davy and Goliath. I don't know if people remember. Oh God, what was it? The frog. Oh, see, now I don't remember. There was another frog one that was kind of like a Bible. Like that's what Davy and Goliath was. Thinly veiled, kind of Bible thing. Romper Room. Can we go kid?
Oh man, Romper Room.
Live action stuff. Romper Bumper Stomper Do. Anyways, I mean, whatever. We could just keep going, but people got a ton. I want to hear your guys.
All right, Dre. What are some of the ones you remember?
I'm gonna start with one that not really anybody's mentioned: the Mighty Orbots.
Oh, go
Mighty Orbots!
No, that was fantastic.
That theme song was fire. I saw the theme song the other day. One of my friends sent it to me, and I was just like floored because it just I was like singing the song. We've mentioned several in here. It's hard to really go too obscure. Orbots was like my really obscure one. I remember. I'm trying not to think too 90s and not too late 70s because you have so many like Inhumanoids was a great cartoon.
Oh yeah,
and I loved it. I remember going to FAO Schwartz in New York when they had the whole Inhumanoids, bunker, and like you could go under them in the rocks, and it was such a cool thing. Brave Star.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's another. classic.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, I'm not gonna go Motu or Thundercats because I mean those are so.
We're talking about the ones that people haven't really remember or have forgotten as well, right?
But in the vein of knowing our, Silverhawks and Thundercats, Tiger Sharks.
Oh yeah, Tiger Sharks, absolutely.
Tiger Sharks and oh God, I mean Pirates of Dark Water, but that's the 90s. That's a super obscure one that has tons of fandom behind it.
That one was great. Yeah, that was some later Hanna-Barbera, and somebody also mentioned Galtar, which was like
Galtar was great.
Later Hanna-Barbera.
Spider-Man is Amazing Friends. I remember growing up with that. I mean, Sharon, Lois, and Bram's Elephant Show when I was at Nickelodeon.
That's a good one.
I've shown my little one that, and she just looks at it so dated, but I remember that. I mean, God, there's so many. Jay, what you hit me with some of yours?
Yeah. So what I'm going to do is let's do this have a little bit of fun. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to flash some cards, and
cool.
you guys try to identify. Some will be easier than others, but there's some really tough ones in here, I think.
The littles. Sorry,
the
people.
littles. Oh,
Mysterious Cities of Gold.
That's right.
That was
Esteban.
Let's be real. That was so anime, but that was not anime. But it was anime.
Totally.
I think it was French, wasn't it, or if it was some other.
Those are those Nickelodeon imported cartoons like that, and Danger Mouse. And
Danger Mouse was so good.
Yeah. All right, so let's have some fun with this. Let's see how quickly you guys can figure these things out. All right, so first one, and I think this one will we'll try for the soft ones first. We'll see how quick people can get these. All right, and everybody at home, you guys play along too. All right, so here we go. The very first, and this one's an easy one. First one to say it will earn my respect. So, ready? And
respect me, Jay.
Oh, the Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
The real Ghostbusters.
Wait,
real Ghostbusters.
Wait,
no, this is not the real Ghostbusters.
Oh,
it's the Ghostbusters. Oh God, but it was, I forgot. It was the secondary series before they had the new one in the early 2000s. God, where's Dave?
Yeah, this is post there was a live action, but what is it? It's not called the Ghostbusters, or
no, it is called Ghostbusters.
Just Ghostbusters. Because they call it the real Ghostbusters.
That's right. That's where that comes from.
That's right. Yeah.
So I'll give you guys a half a point each because again,
real quick. So it did mention this was live action and like all this
it
stuff.
Was.
I don't know, folks. There was there was a ton of live action stuff back in the day. That was like, if you're ever curious, go search Sid and Marty Krofft. And like, I tried to show this to my kids, and they were like, "What were you guys on? Like, what was wrong with you?" Like it was some creepy, like big puppet stuff. Land of the Lost comes out of that stuff. HR Puffin stuff. But anyways,
it's right there.
Yeah, there's that.
Right, and that's actually where Tracy comes from. That's Tracy. That's the same Tracy. They're both the same monkey, right? Yeah. Right. Mm-hmm. And whenever they reference their uncles, these are the two guys they're talking about in the show, right? They're always referencing the fact that they have two uncles who, were busting ghosts, and that's actually what they were talking about. These two fun-loving guys, right?
God, I was a tiny
baby.
Yeah, I couldn't find any of those as an adult. You
I just remember this cartoon showing up when, on the heels of the success of the movie, and they're like, "Oh yeah,
Chad Stewart, congratulations, Ball Dog, yes, Mother Slug, the Filmation Ghostbusters, absolutely, Jabbar Robbins, without a doubt."
Not real Ghostbusters.
I really knew that.
Right.
Yeah, Jay, the not real Ghostbusters. You say that, but they were actually first. So that's a lot of fun.
Well, I was also referring to the one that was done later on. That was like the kids were like using tech. There was a lot more tech. It was like in the early, like the mid 2000s, like right around like 2010 ish. It came out. It was like one season, 30 or 30 something episodes.
You're talking about the new real Ghostbusters?
Yes.
Yeah, the one where Egon was the only one who's left, and yeah, I know what you're talking about. Yeah,
was that the one with the Latino dude,
yes,
the dude in the wheelchair?
Yeah, the girl with the punk hair.
Yeah, the punk hair. They had all the weird
Extreme, because
exactly Ghostbusters Extreme. Yeah, Ghostbusters Extreme. Exactly. They had the weird psychedelic colors. It was crazy. All right, guys, this one is going to be a bit harder. Let's see if you guys get this one. All right, here we go. Oh, that's the wrong one.
Ghostbusters.
I'm lost.
All right, you guys mentioned this one earlier, so first one to shout it out. You guys are in my respect. So here we go. Get ready, set, go. Oh shoot, that did
Galtar.
Dragoon.
It was already there. All right, like I had this all set up, and I was like, crap.
Oh, good.
I thought it was.
Did we mess you up?
Yeah, you messed me up. It's okay. We'll get back to that one. Here's another one. And I think Rick already got it, but we'll try to. You know what, Rick, you already got it. Let's see if Dre knows this one.
Wait. Well, he said Dragoon, but was it?
No. Well, you'll see. You'll understand. All right. So Dre, this one's for you because Rick already got it, but
he heard it.
Yeah.
Well, that looked like Mazinkaiser.
You're close. You're very close.
Was it Great Mazinkaiser or Mazinkaiser Z?
It's not.
It's not Mazinger Z, but they were
Shogun Warriors.
Yeah,
Shogun Warriors. Yes, it is Shogun Warriors, but
they're all part of Shogun Warriors.
You remember the show?
No,
I don't.
I don't.
I was a baby.
Yeah, I was an infant when this came out.
Dude, I watched this religiously. This is Space Cateers from the series Force 5.
No,
So, yeah,
was it?
yeah. This is called Space Cateers. In Japan, it's called Getter Robo G,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
and
but
it's made by Dona Guy, who also created Transor Z.
yep.
And
Cutie honey.
Transor Z, they actually did a crossover in Japan. So
Yeah, but it's Get a Robo.
it is
but-
Getter Robo.
But Space Cateers was actually the dude
No,
that was
Sorry. Did I say
yeah,
Space? I meant
yeah.
I meant Starvengers.
Starvengers.
Starvengers,
Yes.
This is Starvengers.
Sorry, Space Cateers was the Sun
That was-
Wukong take,
Yeah,
right?
it was Journey to the West. It was
Yes.
Journey to the West in space.
That was a
Yeah, that was
such
an
a good
incredible.
cartoon.
Those figures are awesome. I remember the figures.
Force
actually,
5 was
these
Yeah,
I've
but-
seen recently. Solo Chokojin has remade these figures, and I
Yep.
mean, for
Yeah,
any
multiple times.
any adult collector that really wants to spend $1,000, you're getting a quality piece. It's a
Mhm.
museum piece. It's beautiful.
Just
my
beautiful.
brother still has his little guy like this.
Yeah.
Nice.
Of that
So
one.
good. And they
And
had
he's
some
got his
cool-
Grandizer with the UFO. Man, that Grandizer in Force 5 was like the Klaatu
whole
Barada Nikto. Man, that was some good stuff back in the day.
Oh, Brick, you hit
Open
me
my
right there in the
world.
feels. Clack,
Yeah.
Not every state got it, and not every province got it. So it was actually a rarity. Many people just look at me like, "What the hell are you talking about?" Like seriously, they have no idea.
That's a great show. I watched actually when they did it in the early 90s or mid 90s. They remade it as Shin Getter Robo, and it was amazing to rewatch it. I mean, it kind of inspired a lot of the companies to get like, what was it? You had Big O and all that other stuff that came out of those shows from Japan here. So for a lot of the newer generation, I mean, this is where Big O gets its start, and like Evangelion and all that. There you go. And Go Nagai is, I mean, Devilman.
Oh yeah, man.
Cutie Honey.
Yep.
I mean, amazing
All
stuff.
great stuff. Yeah. Cute Cult Majinger. No, it's not. This is related to Majinger. Very, very close. SA, Get a Robo. Technically not. This is technically not Get a Robo. Balrog, Get a Robo.
Yeah.
No, technically not Get a Robo. Here we go. Rodimus Prime 1982. Get a Robo G. Yes, this is Get a Robo G. It's actually the second season of Get a Robo. Because in the original Get a Robo, the Get a Robo is destroyed. But Musashi sacrifices himself at the end of that series to save everybody else, and in doing so, they had to recreate the new robots for Get a Robo G. Wow, Dave knows what he's talking about. Force 5.
Yeah.
Yes. Ding, 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 ding.
Keep
ding.
going. He's got another one under two underneath. That's it.
And Mark for Prime Shingeta. No, this is actually
Older.
Geta.
Old getter.
Robo G.
OG getter.
It says
Hey,
G.
the teachers will give you a quick lesson. Anything in the Japanese language with the word "shin" in front of it means new.
New, exactly.
Yeah.
Correct. Well, Dave, Porcos. Yes, Porcos.
That's
That's
us saying
right.
from
Good one.
Space Cateers.
Absolutely. That was Space Cateers.
Man, the sub, like his ship,
I know.
his little missile shield thing.
He had to dial a phone to get the ship to move.
Yeah.
Starvengers was the era of edited cartoons of anime. This is true.
Yeah.
Brand new.
Yeah, that was the big localization effort. People that were like producers were trying to like just inhale licenses.
It's
and
not really, it's not really confirmed whether or not Jim Terry even had the license at all. It's actually very much speculated. He just took a bunch of LDs and just decided to make the show himself.
I've heard
Not
that
even
too. Yeah,
he had the license or not.
sketchy.
Well, what was it? Saban did that. You know, he had with Power Rangers. He was trying to get the license, and he didn't for a while. He tried to, do all the what we know as U Ranger and all that stuff. So again, a lot of Kamen Rider even fell into that thing. But if you actually have friends that are in Mexico or in South America, in Central America, Latin America, and the Caribbean, we ended up getting a lot of these shows. Like in Puerto Rico, I'd visit my family. We would actually see these cartoons in Japanese with Spanish subtitles. So this was a very common thing and I know in California, a lot of my friends in California, Texas, New Mexico, Arizona, they had this like on Galivisión. They would be able to see these on Saturday morning. So we did get this, and it was pretty cool.
It was just amazing, and it was that time where, again, as Brick said, things got sketchy. Like you just sometimes you just did not know where these things were coming from.
Yeah,
it's actually kind of crazy. All right, let's continue. All right, first one to shout it out. Let's see if anybody knows this one. Oh no, sorry, that's the same one. But yeah, there it is. More get a Robo G.
Extra credit.
More.
They look
More.
so awesome.
All right, here we go. Ready? Go.
Oh, the Herculoids.
I picked one with the actual thing, but isn't that like seriously? This was the age of creativity, man. Like these blobs. Come on.
They redid it.
Gleep and
Gleep and Gloop. Yeah,
Yeah, Gleep and Gloop. Yeah.
Yeah.
They actually, I know that Mafex is doing the Wacky Racers, and DC about 4 years ago, I think it was, right before COVID, it might have been. They did the covers where they took the famous, like what was it, famous Hanna-Barbera cartoons and matched them up with DC characters. So you had like Jabberjaw, and like he was with Aquaman. You know,
Right.
you had Scooby-Doo with Batman, and they would like mix and match the different things. And the Herculoids were actually and these were all alt art covers. So like you had to like get to the shop and grab, like there's only like 4 of them in the shop, and they were awesome. I have a few of them. They're awesome.
What was sorry, real quick? I'm trying to remember. There was a comic book that came out not too long ago. It was like Johnny Quest, Herculoid, Space Ghost. They were all kind of like something.
Dynamite.
Quest.
Dynamite Comics
Yes.
was doing a like recreating this universe.
Yes,
And it's kind of like they recreated like the multiverse. So like Space
it
Ghost
was
started
something
it.
Quest, right?
Yeah, I forgot the name of it. I have a few of the books buried in one of my comic boxes, but it's really solid. It's a really good read.
Yeah, that was it was so cool because it just mixed them all into a thing. I'm not gonna look it up now, but I will just real quick because I love to let people know because this is an important name. You know, we hear Kirby a lot, which is like pretty much like this one creative force had his fingers and his hands and a lot of the like things that became part of our pop culture. Of course, on the Marvel side, even Thundar. But for this stuff, man, Alex Toth, Toth, not enough people talk about him and his designs and his work. But look him up, man. A lot of these characters that you saw here from Hanna-Barbera, all his designs and his artwork was amazing, man. He's like the brain behind your Johnny Quests, your Space Ghosts, your Herculoids, Shazam, and I mentioned earlier, like just it's amazing stuff, and his artwork was fantastic. And then if I had like a trinity, the third would be Frazetta. So it's like Toth, Kirby, Frazetta. Thank you.
Oh, that's your Mount Rushmore. That's a great Mount Rushmore right there.
Yeah, man. Sorry, just a little aside,
dude.
Shout out to the creators, man.
Love it. Got to.
Yep. No, there's no apologies here. I mean, this is a time to especially recognize some of the greatest minds and creators of our time. I mean, this is the time to do it, guys. This is the time to do it. All right, let's. All right, we got a couple of people who figured this one out. Let's see here. Actually, I don't think anybody figured it out.
No,
Jabbar Robbins.
Yeah, they did.
Jabbar Robbins, of course. Somebody said Thundar. No, close, but no cigar.
You need 3 for Thundar.
Yep.
Ookla the Mock.
Yep.
Ookla the Mock
was taking the 80s by storm. It was. It really was. While Dave says, love the Herculoids. Figures on my coffee table, which is sweet. G Zambrano, what's going on? How's it going, brother? I did want to say hi to Javier Rios. Good to see you, my friend. How you doing tonight? Another huge shout out. Oh my God, Mac Mike Baby, thank you for the $10 super year. You're gonna bowl us over with all your super stickers, my friend. Thank you. Macross Robotech fans seem to be divided. Since Robotech was licensed in the U.S., we grew up with Rick Hunter. However, Macross fans get sensitive calling him Hikaru, where we get the history. Who cares? Thoughts? We are going to talk about that a lot. And as a matter of fact, our good friend Toy Habits, spoiler ahead, is actually preparing something very special for Robotech fans the next coming couple of weeks.
Nice.
I hope you guys will enjoy that. And I hope that he can join us later tonight. But thank you, Mac Baby. We will be talking about that a little bit in a short while.
So I have 2 questions before you finish this. So if you don't mind, I just wanted to 2 questions to have. One, and it's more of a statement. Thundercats is awesome by Dynamite, and I know that they're doing a prequel series like before the Thundercats came to Third Earth. It just got announced today. It comes out like in February or March. So if you're comic book fans in here, definitely check it out. And number two, the idea that I know Brick and Jay, I want to kind of throw this out to you too, as well as the chat. It's kind of been, I've been seeing the trend in YouTube. There, it seems like the community once again has to find a way to be divisive and separate themselves. Like there's either people that are like toy collectors that love the lore, that love the idea, they know like the stuff like we do. And then there's the I like just to figure how it looks. Do you think is that kind of how cartoons are good? Like these cartoons are kind of falling into that same thing. Like, oh, I love the way the Herculoids look because I knew the artist and I only knew that from comic books. But I mean, do you think that that's what we're seeing as a trend?
That's a lot to unpack there.
I know it is. I'm sorry. We could discuss it later. It's just like I wanted to put a pin in that.
Like, no, let's address it a little bit at least. So, but what is the root? Can you summarize that in like a small sentence? Because you went from
so basically what I'm noticing is that there's like, okay, I'm going to use it on my desk. I love Ultraman, right? I love Ultraman. Yep. Now I've watched all the shows. I know the lore. I love the character. So if I purchase it, right? But then there's the guy that'll be like, hey, I just think it looks cool. And they're mad at so the collector community gets divided. They're like, well, I'm mad at you for reviewing this, but you don't know what the character's from. And then you get the guy that's mad saying, well, you know too much of the lore and you're collecting this and it's like you're ruining the hobby. And you got people in the middle that are kind of like, who cares? You know, it's like what you like. So that's
I see what you're
that's right. That's why I'm wondering if you're noticing that I'm seeing that trend pop up a lot.
You go ahead, Brett. You go ahead.
I mean, I'll say it's not a new trend, man. Like when I was a kid, it was the same kind of thing. Whatever your geek is, right? There's gonna be people who are just like, I enjoy this casually, or I enjoy this for this reason, and somebody else is gonna like pop out the corner and say you're doing it wrong. And I lack patience for it. I'm also a music guy. And I was involved in a lot of like punk stuff, and that was the same thing. It was like, nah, man, you don't really know the real music, or you just like, it's exhausting when at the end of the day, like we just love this stuff. And so for me, one, I don't think it's a new trend. Two, I got no patience for it. I think it's freaking exhausting. Like literally, whether it's music, art, toys, comic books, they're designed for us to like get lost in, enjoy, maybe learn something along the way. That's great. But when people try to kind of like one up each other and find reasons to say, no, you're not allowed to like it this way, or you don't get it. Like, no one gets value out of that other than the person who thinks they are better than or smarter than the others. And I don't need it.
I'm going to echo that sentiment. I think that when we were growing up as kids, we didn't necessarily have cartoons to back up what we were collecting as toys. You know what I mean? When Master of the Universe first came out, nobody knew what the heck it was. We had to rely on the mini comics, which we quickly forgot about, right? And we made up our own stories, right? The same is true with so many other properties that usually came out around that time. Because there was a lot, like Brainstorm again came out way before the cartoon came out. But today, just like anything else, whoever says something first is usually the one who says, I got the scoop on everybody. And I have been noticing, though, Dre, just to answer the question directly, that people tend to do that. Yes, I think Brink's right. I don't think it's ever really been a big revelation. I just think it's become more vocal in today's internet sphere, because people are warriors, all that kind of stuff, right? Do I think the trend is going to continue? Absolutely. Do I give two rat's asses? No. You can take that and shove it, man. Like seriously. I say this about other toy collectors too. There are toy collectors out there who will tell you, you know what, you shouldn't buy a HasLab. How dare you buy a HasLab? It's way too freaking expensive. Like you are empowering the companies to be able to charge us more money. And to them I say, you know what? It's your freaking money. Do whatever the heck you want with it. Okay. Yeah. You are an adult. You can make adult freaking decisions. All right. Like, dude, I just okay. Check this out, and you guys, I don't know if you know this, but I just literally posted a video about a wonderful creator from Rowdy Toys. He just created a 12-foot freaking flag for the classified series.
Yeah, I saw that.
Wow.
12 freaking
Yeah, it's
feet.
crazy.
Okay, it barely fits in his living room, and some idiot decides to go and tell me because I made an offhand remark, and I said, "Oh my God, your wife is a goddess. She's allowing you to put this in the living room, right?" I said, "Your wife is a goddess. You should definitely thank her." And some freaking moron decides to go and tell me, don't be so what did he say? He said don't be such a sissy or whatever he said. He said how dare you how dare you imply that your wife is allowing you to do whatever. I said that's not what I said. First of all, that's not what I said. First of all, B, go suck a dick, because seriously, what the hell are you talking about?
Cool.
Right?
It's your channel. Now I know what I can say. Here we go.
Exactly. I was watching my mouth. I was like,
no, like my in the chat. When I have something very like important to say, I'll say it.
No,
you know what I mean?
Sure, I'm joking.
Like seriously, if you're gonna basically say something stupid like that, then you're gonna get a stupid answer. Okay, that's just the way it is. But the reality is, you are a freaking adult. Act like one. Right? Don't freaking say, "Oh no, you're his friend, so you can't be my friend if you're his friend." You can't, like, what the hell's wrong with you? Like, seriously, grow up, okay? We live in an adult world. Grow the f up, right? And if anybody ever says that you shouldn't say stuff like, "Oh, you shouldn't encourage that kind of behavior because you know what? That's like empowering somebody else." You know what the hell are you talking about? Obviously, you have in your head, you're thinking something completely different than what I was thinking. So you know what? You stay in that little world of yours, because that is where that kind of thinking belongs. Okay, so that's what I got to say. We are none of us are above each other. This was a partner, a wife. I'm going to go ahead and say it, a partner, a wife, whatever you want to call it. This is somebody who actually let you put a goddamn 12-foot freaking toy.
No, that's real. Like,
you can't eat there anymore. You cannot eat dinner there anymore. At least for that video. Right?
No, I mean, come on. Like, we all know the person who made that comment has some serious like issues and so like whatever. They're projecting.
But I like the fact that you both echoed the same sentiment. I feel it's just I just wanted to kind of pose that out there because it's been something that's been kind of on my mind. So I really appreciate that, and I love the fact that the chat's been saying. It's awesome.
Yeah, right here. Yeah. Mike of Tiberian Hanger. My wife allows me to have 1,600 square feet to display my collection, but does not allow it in the damn house. Okay. Yeah. Okay. You know what? I remember the other half of that stupid argument. He goes, "Happy wife, happy life," bullshit. I was like, no. If you want to keep your relationship, then maybe you should both be happy. How's that for an idea? Okay. How about you both be happy? There's a concept nobody's thought about lately. Jeez Louise. Anyway, off my high horse. Thanks, Dre.
Hey, I'm sorry. I just wanted to. I'm glad we took the pin out of it. I love it.
No, for real though, like this stuff should be fun. Exactly. I think there is a space for learning too. It's like, man, at a certain point, you got to learn how to like just listen to other people. Like, oh, cool. Like, I know this history of Macross, but like, tell me why you like Robotech. Like, what is it? Oh, let me tell you about Macross. It's all good, baby. Like, just have some fun with it.
Facts.
Yeah. Clint Jorgensen, if you tell somebody water is wet, you'll get some people who actually argue that fact. Well,
yeah.
Apparently,
especially nowadays.
Apparently, the Earth is flat again. So I mean, we're gonna.
Yeah.
Someone, is it true that they're making the Voltron movie or show? Not anymore.
No movie. No movie.
Henry, hold on. Henry Cavill literally just got the green light for Warhammer. And I, just like Master Universe, I just default to my standard answer. I'll believe it when I see it. Okay?
Sure. Yeah.
That's just my standard.
I understand that thinking, but no, I totally understand that thinking, especially if you feel like we've been burned right in the past. But like, I'm glad that somebody at least thinks it's a valid thing to try and do, because they could easily not even bother trying these. Did you ever read that old Voltron script that was going around for a while? I forget the dude's name, but it was like a post-apocalyptic Earth, and the lions are kind of buried. And
Ooh.
But that's sort of what it is, right? I mean, if
it
you guys
is no, it is. But the way it would played out, they added a little bit more to the lore of like Princess Laura being this alien, and she had this bodyguard thing. Anyway, I'm trying to remember. It was some like hotshot script writer that ended up doing a bunch of other scripts, but I read it and I was like, oh, I kind of like the story treatment. It would have been different. It would have made a lot of people angry. It would have had a lot of actually people coming out saying it's wrong.
Yeah.
But it sounded like it could have also been really fun.
You know what? Just much like Master Universe, Voltron has been through development hell, and it continues to be so because Clint says that it's out. I agree. It's probably not going to happen. Randall says it's going to happen, but here's the thing. Henry Cavill is so dedicated to Warhammer. I think he will honestly drop Voltron in favor of Warhammer because he's going to be the executive producer and he's going to star in it. He doesn't have time to do Voltron. If they're going to do Voltron, they're going to pick another lead. So I think it's going to be delayed at the very least.
They had like two. They had an Oscar nominee running up for like his would have been his like cohort in the film. So I forgot what the black guy's name is. He was in the movie with Dave Bautista, Hotel Artemis. He was the older brother in that movie. He got nominated recently for an Academy Award, and I'm like, man, this guy's stepping up, and they're pushing him, and he signed on.
What other movie?
Oh God, the only one that comes to me was Hotel Artemis because that's what I remember seeing.
That's my pop cult. My current pop culture hole is all the John Wick stuff. That's John Wick, right?
Sidney Poitier, thank you, Clint. That's a little too old for us, right?
Oh, Sidney Poitier. Wow, isn't he? Didn't he pass?
I believe he. Actually, honestly, I don't know. I don't think he did.
Because that was Little Nikita. That was Little.
He
Nikita.
did.
Yeah. Who's calling? Who's coming for dinner or something like that?
Randall. As much as I like to think that, they haven't even announced the rest of the cast. I doubt they're going to be able to film anything.
No.
But no, I doubt so. I doubt it very much. Even Master Universe, they still announcing cast members apparently, and I still don't believe it. So anyway, again, that's
Blade. Let's talk about Blade. Developmental hell for almost 9 years.
No, that's not going to happen. That's not going to happen. All right, let's keep going, guys. Lot of surprises going to happen here.
Yeah. What else did you have? I'm curious.
I'm very, very excited.
I got some really cool stuff coming up, but you'll probably get this next one. Ready, set, go.
Galtor. Nice. I love those horses, man. That is totally very, very what am I trying to say? It's Ukla's horse.
Yes.
I love those old horses. Yes. And then the one in the back is very Herculoids, the dragon.
From a historical standpoint, when you actually if you look at it, the blade's very Middle Eastern. From my family side of the cult, my Eastern, East African, or Eastern Asia, Western Asia.
Yeah, it made its way to us too. I'm assuming. Are you referring to the Golden Lance, or are you talking to
the Golden Lance? Sword? So, because if you're looking at this, the sword is very Middle Eastern. The outfit is very very similar to the Huns. So it's in the lance you see him. He looks like he's very Greek, very Roman. So it's very cool. I loved how he used to always put it together.
And then that villain.
It was nice little twist. It was a nice little twist that he did at the end.
Yeah, and the villain whose name I'm forgetting, but he's got this again. That very
he's got a very middle
armor, but he's got the sword that's very like a Chris knife.
Mongolian as well. You know what I mean? Very
I loved how that art style was very present in the 80s and late 70s, and we were getting that as kids, and it's kind of you both have said, it's kind of in teaching us a little something, but through kind of this ooh, I like those toys. Then when you get older, you're like, oh man, I want to try to fight with that sword, and then you find out what it is. So it's very cool.
All right, here we go, guys. First one to say it. Ready? 3, 2, 1. Oh, freak. It was supposed to be this one.
Johnny
Quest.
One of those guys from Operation Monster Force. No, I'm just kidding.
Johnny Quest. I love this. The intro song was just so great.
Dude, that was man, that jazz, you got Ray Spannon, you got Johnny Quest. Oh man, this stuff was so good.
And I mean, all the iterations
Brothers, anybody?
afterwards. Yeah, I was about to say Venture Brothers, which I loved. I mean, this was classic, man. I didn't like the other iterations of the show. Later on in the late '90s, early 2000s, they did it. They tried to revitalize like a modernized version of it. Then Venture Brothers was like, no, stop it. Hold
Even
my
this
beer.
artwork isn't like the classic Toth inspired, animation artwork.
It was pretty
But
crazy.
cool concept, man. It was a really cool concept.
Very different,
especially for young people. It was just kind of like, oh, cool. Little, some sketchiness, some let's say passe, treatment of Haji and stuff, and the kids, but
can I say
of
this
its time
for being amongst people that I will say that we are of being a people of color, it was like we didn't see these sorts of characters even represented. So like when you think about it, like Robotech and Macross, you had Bowie Grant, and then you have Haji. I can count on my hand how many GI Joes were people of color. It's like it's crazy how as an adult I look at it and I'm like, wow, it was such a different culture back then to what
what's interesting, sorry, you mentioned GI Joe in particular, is that if you read the file cards, you'd realize a lot more of them were folks of color than they presented as. But no, I hear you. And it was, eventually like things evolve. I like to see things evolving now. I hate that people are fighting the evolution, but
oh god,
whatever.
yes,
Yeah.
I'm with you.
I hear you. Mac Baby, thank you for the $5 super. Man, you are just a gem, Mac. Thank you so much.
Appreciate that, man. Support Jay. Thanks, Mac Baby.
Separated from my ex 17 years ago because she didn't like my toy collection / hobby. I'm waiting for Elon to come out with a nice Megan Fox Android 2.0. Oh my god,
that movie was scary. I can go on about that movie.
Let me tell you something, okay? I was at lunch today, a Christmas lunch, and one of the guys there, he showed me the picture of Elon Musk's androids, and I was like, "Wait, isn't that a shot from iRobot? Are these things? Do I have to sleep with a baseball bat beside me if I ever buy one of these things? Because that thing literally looked like an iRobot robot. I was like, this is some scary stuff here. Thank you, Mac Baby, and I hope it works out with your Megan Fox 2.0 because." I understand, but thank you, brother. Appreciate that. All right. The Venture Brothers. Yeah, that's what happened. Johnny Quest grew up, right? I mean, that's exactly what happened.
Jaded.
That's what it is. All right. This one, I'm hoping this one throws you guys for a loop. If you guys figure this one out, you truly have my respect because no one's mentioned it yet. All right. I think Jabbar will probably get this first, but let's see if anybody else gets this. Ready, guys? 3, 2, 1, and here we go.
Oh, it's in the water. Oh, jeez.
Okay, in the water.
Deep sea.
Wait,
Sequest? No,
not the Sequest.
First one to call it. Come on. You guys can do it.
10,000 Leagues Under the Sea?
No. You're in the right ballpark.
It was Sea Lab.
No, it was not Sea Lab. No.
Same art style.
It was not Sea Lab. SA says Sea Lab. No, it was not Sea Lab. Come on, Jabbar. I know you know it. Come on, anybody?
Captain Nemo?
Don't look at the chat. Come on.
No,
I had to. I didn't know. I never heard of it. Like this is out of my. This is definitely out of my.
Brick knows it. It's on.
Yeah, I can't think of the name.
Okay, I'm gonna give you a hint. Okay, it was a Disney movie as well.
10,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Okay,
no,
but not. That's not the title. But who was the
Captain Nemo?
Captain Nemo.
Bring it all together. Come on.
Captain
Wait.
Nemo and 10,000 Leagues Under the Sea.
Oh, I might be. I don't think I'm thinking of the right thing.
Okay. All right. I'll give it to you.
Yeah.
Basically, it is the Undersea Adventures.
That actually wasn't at all what I was thinking. I didn't put it two together.
That's 3 years before I was born. I wouldn't.
I used to watch. No, but it was in syndication for the longest time, right? And I used to watch this.
That was a year before I was born.
I used to watch this religiously on global TV. It just come on, and the freaking song would always get to me. It was just this Hawaii 5-0 type of song, and
the Ventures, not Venture Brothers, but the band Ventures.
It had this drum roll, and it just and then you see Captain Nemo with his ray gun and woo woo woo, and it was all this.
I need to see that.
It was all this Marvel 1970s animation where nothing's moving. It's just literally. It was worse. It was worse than Filmation animation. Like Filmation animation, is actually beautiful. It really is.
No, it's like,
But
did you ever watch the old Marvel shows like Captain America, Iron
that's
Man?
what I mean. That's what this was. This
Where
was
they
very
like move
similar.
things and yeah. What's up,
Toy
Ken?
Connections is in the house. We're gonna try and stump Ken. We're gonna try and stump Ken tonight. What's going on, Ken? How you doing tonight, brother?
Better late than never. I had some late errands to run. Otherwise, I would have come on quite a bit earlier. I know that I used to be like semi-regular here on Friday. And what ended up happening was my son ended up getting an appointment. Like basically he has a weekly thing that he does every single Friday now that doesn't end till like 9:30 my time, which is like 12:30 your time. So by the time I get him home and get him settled, it's like an hour later. Whereas in 2022, I was here like every single week. People are like, why don't you show him Mega Jays anymore? I'm like, well, life changed and Jay had his channel long before I came along, but we still talk all the time, you know, a lot of reasons to stay in touch. So yeah, there we go. And good to see you. Say what?
What kind of stupid excuse is that? Come on, whatever you want.
It was a long one.
It was a long. It was a long excuse, and for me, it's a conversational icebreaker because well, you all have been going on for an hour and a half. For me, I'm in my first minute here, so you know, not saying that I'm fresh and good to go. I'm just as tired as anybody else at the end of a week. But yeah,
You mentioned you missed the Toy Traders talk, man. I was trying to remember the name, and we came back to it.
Yes, the store that I took you to, and I wish I could have taken a camera of your reaction and just like you kind of looking around like,
so
where am I? What is this paradise?
I was telling him that was more exciting to me than even remember when you and I went to the Toys R Us after, or was it before? I forget, but I didn't have that same sort of like. You know, but like that Toy Traders thing was definitely something special, man. That was great.
Yeah, it was just great taking you there and just watching your experience in real time. It's just like, oh my God, I wish I could see this every day from another collector. So yeah. So I was there a few weeks ago. Oddly, did I even grab anything that time? I'm not sure. Maybe I grabbed something for my kid. I can't even remember. Just the memory is fading. Memory's fading very fast.
You got to make it to the west coast of your country, Mega J. Hang out with Ken.
That's what I forgot. We're doing show and tell, aren't we? So I'm going to be right back.
All right, we'll do the show and tell. In the meantime,
this guy's got some nice.
He's got heat coming.
I'm going to continue testing the wherewithal.
Go for it.
These two. All right. So if that one's three for a loop, I think this.
I didn't know that one at all. I need to track it down.
But you almost had it though. You almost had it.
Well, yeah, it's because I saw the kids and I was thinking of a completely different cartoon. But hey, before you try to stump us, can you tell me a little bit more about it? Is it close to the old stories at all?
It's set in the future, right? And what happens is it literally is just it's a nature show, and it's an animated nature show. So what happens is Captain E will take the two kids and they'll go diving. And they'll find, octopuses and clams and things like that. And he'll give them a whole education about it. And inevitably, they'll get attacked by a giant whale or a shark or something like that. And Captain E will have to come out and save them. It was just a
sub. Is his sub? What is it? Does it look?
The sub looks like a tadpole. It looks like I always equated it to Kermit the Frog. It literally just kind of like floated in space.
Because the steampunk sort of take on the Jules Verne stuff that you see a lot of people doing now, or like even what they did with Disney. Fantastic. Wonderful. And some of my favorite, I love the Mezco figure of Nemo. That's one that I at some point want to go back and grab. And my favorite sort of version of that character was what Alan Moore did in League of Extraordinary Gentlemen.
Oh yeah, I loved it. I loved it.
Anyways, cool.
It didn't get enough accolades. I thought it was great. All right, so here we go, guys. This one will probably stump many people, and it might not have even been broadcast in your state or in your province. But if you guys can get this, you have my respect. This one's a lot of fun. All right, ready, set, go.
No,
that's anime. I can tell you that.
It is an anime, but it came out.
It looks familiar though. I think I've seen pictures.
It is really, really. It's a great cartoon. It really.
It looks like it looks like the people who did Professor Layton, that same studio.
It's not based on like a British property. It's like Mr. Toad. Wind in the Willows. Wind of the Willows.
So the answer is yes and no. This was actually an anime which was specifically produced for a North American audience, but the Japanese took it in their own direction.
And the Green Gables.
You're very close. Anne of Green Gables is the same type of style, right?
Yeah.
But no. Any last guesses? Ken,
I said Wind in the Willows. It's not Wind in the Willows.
Is it Velveteen Rabbit?
No, it's not. It's not.
I literally just read the chat. I cheated. I was hoping
Well,
that
let me see
was right.
Let me see if anybody in the chat got it. No, it is not the Velveteen Rabbit. It is not that. What the heck is that?
Oh, God.
Winnie the Pooh. No, it is not Winnie the Pooh. It is not Winnie the Pooh. I think this is the one that's going to stump pretty much everybody except for me. So, any last guesses from the peanut gallery?
Nope.
I'll give you guys one more chance.
I
If
still
you
think
guys-
it's Wind in the Willows.
This one's a really hard one for people because again, it did not always get broadcast into many regions. So where's Jabbar? Jabbar, I'm holding out. I'm holding out on Jabbar because I think
Jabbar
Jabbar
Robbins?
might have something. What's that?
Jabbar Robbins?
Jabbar Robbins, yeah.
Yeah.
I'm holding out on Jabbar Robbins. I'm hoping he can grab it. No, it is not the Rascals, and you might be thinking of the Raccoons. That is not what this is. Jabbar is stumped. Oh my god! Oh wow! Jabbar Robbins of all people is stumped. I'm shocked. I'm shocked. All right, so here comes the big reveal of this. And again, this might not be something that came to your region, so I don't blame anybody. It is the Fables of the Green Forest, everybody.
Mm.
Would never have
God.
guessed.
Yeah,
Never have guessed.
it was a wonderful cartoon. It was broadcast in Ontario. It was broadcast on TV Ontario. A really great cartoon. I remember one of the episodes that really shocked me was the one where the basset hound was chasing the fox, and literally the farmer tried to shoot him dead. It was a really scary episode for kids. It was really, really crazy. It was just absolutely nuts. All right, here's another one that I think will be very, very difficult for you guys to figure out. Let's see if you guys can figure this out. First one to call it. Ready? 3, 2, and again, this is another one which you might not have even seen this ever in your lives. And it's not it's a stop motion animation. So let's see if you guys get this one. Some of you might have repressed memories of this. So ready? 3, 2, 1, go.
Nope.
No idea. No chance.
No idea. All right. Anybody from the peanut gallery? Anybody from the stands?
I probably saw something like this when I smoked a lot of herb back in the day.
Those look
very much the same time.
simultaneously like some of these 70s Christmas ornaments that we used to have back in the day, as well as some of the newer things that you can find at Target.
He looks like a sloth that's a cop.
This is very much in the style. Okay, so basically they're all in costume, by the way. This is very much in the style of Davy and Goliath. It was very much the same stop motion animation. Think around the same time as
Gumby?
Gumby too,
Ooh.
but around the same time as the Rankin and Bass cartoon specials.
Yeah.
Right.
Like Will and Gromit, like Wallace and Gromit.
Right.
Well,
And
earlier.
one thing that people probably would not recognize this from, this is actually, I believe it was Finnish. I believe this was animated in Finland. This is actually known as Koragol in Europe, but here in North America we know it as Jeremy the Bear. It was a wonderful cartoon. It was usually played on PBS in some regions, or here in TV Ontario again. It was just about this young bear named Jeremy. He gets he goes through a very Pinocchio style of storyline where he joins the circus, but the circus master ends up enslaving him. Very much so. His whole family has to rescue him, and then he goes off on multiple adventures to different parts of the world. He goes to Mexico. He goes to the USA. He goes to so many different countries, and it's just this wonderful little tale. And I'm surprised that even the great Jabbar Robbins has not heard of it. So it's amazing what does come out and what doesn't.
Fuck, man, really?
You learn something new every day.
A lot of people might actually recognize Pengu instead of this. That's actually what that is. Whoa! What is that? What is that? Oh,
This is my vote for my favorite toy of
Oh, look at
2024,
that thing.
and it came in
It's as big
right
as your
at the
head.
end of the year. It is. It's the Robo Skull. It's the Mark II Robo Skull from Skeletron, aka Toy Connections tax write-off 2024. But I'm telling you what, even though I said it on the live stream. What was your rule, Jay? Just show that it's on camera and it proves you own it. Ordered, like, the Kickstarter was back in 2021. It's a very complex piece, so I can see why it took a bit longer, but the Skeletron dudes are some of the most fantastic people you'll meet. They got the original designer Bob Breakin in to kind of help and consult with this. They had a large team together. There's a whole line of like 4-inch figures. They got a line of 6-inch figures coming out. They got some O-ring figures. I mean, even this thing here, for those who are not into the old Palitoy Action Force, there's a cockpit inside that it's hard to see, but there's actually a seat here and a seat back there. You can actually take the cockpit out because it's scaled for 4-inch figures. You can take the 2-seater cockpit out, put a 1-seater in, and make it for a 6-inch figure. So it's actually a multi-scaled piece. There's a lot of effects with this thing. There's a lot of blast effects that I left in the box. There's like a flame effect here. This RoboSkull even has 2 different versions with it. There's one with the non-face paint in the front, which is like the regular version. I mean, there's just so much you can do with this thing. You know, the wings fully rotate. I could go on and on and on about this thing. So yeah, there's got a bunch of accessories you can get extra too, like a flight stand. There's like an armored mask you can put on the top. The eye attachments are removable. You can actually take them out and put other attachments in. This thing's got a lot going for it. So yeah, there it is.
That is incredible. Holy
I
crap.
love the deluxe's paint job too. It's really cool.
Yeah. I actually, the reason I went with the deluxe special edition was because they said it was a Kickstarter exclusive. So I'm like, if I change my mind and want the other one, thank you, Fugman. If I change my mind and want the other one, that's still available now. Whereas this was a Kickstarter exclusive with a Kickstarter exclusive pilot and everything, because this one comes with the Red Weasel pilot rather than the Blood Wolf pilot, if anyone knows what I'm talking about. So yeah.
Sweet. Dre,
There it is.
Fugman's basically saying, didn't even realize you were here.
I know. I was like, I still love you, bro.
All right, great stuff, Ken. So that is Ken's number 1 pick for toy of 2024. Congratulations, Ken. It looks
Also recency. It's also recency bias, right? Because it just arrived this week, right?
All right.
Nope.
Step
Hey,
on
I
in
didn't
over
want
here.
to bring this up. It's been sitting there for a while, but I didn't know because it may be one of your things one of the slides that you were going to bring up might have covered it. But DC Jabbar is there from 1054 about Tatsunoko Productions.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, well, we might have gotten to that soon, but 1054, that's all the way back. Holy crap.
Oh, wait,
you know
am
what
I
else are you-
behind?
What is 1054 for us, Ken?
It's 154.
Well,
154.
Ken's the same as me.
Yeah, so you want me. You want
Yeah.
Dre.
We should give Tatsunoko Productions their flowers. They give us Speed Racer, Gutchman, Robotech, etc. Absolutely.
Well, through some research that I promise I'm not doing right now with any relation to a history video, they gave us all of Macross, Southern Cross, and Genesis Clemmer Mospita.
True.
That's freaking awesome, right? I promise I did not learn that on
Wait.
Wikipedia while you guys were anything else. And I promise.
I'm glad you're finally delving into Robotech, man. That was my childhood, and it holds up, man. I've watched it several times over, and I
Brick,
love that.
Are you recommending a history of Robotech by Toy Connections in some way, shape, or form?
We mentioned that earlier.
I'm sure.
waiting
Yes,
for
that's
it.
exactly what I was trying to say. You should
waiting.
do.
Okay. You know what? Because you requested it, I think I'll work on one if Jay's up for it.
If I could find some of the yeah, man, I wouldn't mind throwing down on that too. But if man, I have a bunch of vintage Robotech stuff. I have a vintage Cyclone and Scott. I forget the name of the company now. My brother has an Alpha.
Matchbox?
No. This is before. This is from Japan. They didn't even release it here. It was like
Was
a
it Takatomi?
9-inch, 10-inch.
Dakin.
Yes. And then my brother has the Alpha. I forget what they call it now. The green one, Scott Bernard's big old.
Yeah. Somebody sent me a message and they said they have this locally, and it said they got my name on it. They are asking if I want to buy it in the box and everything.
That's it. I still have my beat up box somewhere, but I think it's somewhere at my parents' place.
It's
the guy that sold me the sealed Mr. T and the sealed Brave Star that are both in the acrylic case because I got it for such a stupidly good price. Same guy also sold me the Powers of Grayskull Triceratops for a stupidly good price. He's got this right now, and he's like, "You
I will
want it?
tell
Ken? I got
you.
your name on it." I'm like, "Oh my
I
god,
mean,
stop selling me!"
yeah, if it's boxed, I'm sure you're willing to pay a certain price for it. But like they're not hard to find loose. I've seen 2 of them here in the Bay
He's
that like
$200 below eBay. That's how I'm like, "Are you
yeah,
serious, man?" I got to inspect it, but still,
yeah.
Yeah.
right.
Okay, so Ken's joined the game. Let's see how fast anybody can get this next one. Now, I've zoomed in on this because if you see the full thing, you guys are going to get it right away. But first one to call it, and here we go.
Gojira,
Yeah,
Godzilla.
Godzilla and Godzuki.
Yeah.
I was just gonna
Godzuki,
say
that's what I was
Godzilla,
trying to
so
say.
I don't know the actual.
Whoop.
Somebody's doing this, aren't they? Isn't someone doing this?
Yep.
It's Super 7.
Yeah.
Super
Yeah.
7's bringing out a line of these.
Yeah,
And
between this and the Marvel Comics one, the Shogun Warriors one, man, there were some really fun takes on Godzilla back in the day.
I love this show. This show was freaking amazing. I really loved it. It was just so cute in the way they animated the little Godzilla. I thought it was really, really neat.
Can I take a tangent here real quick about American culture and Japanese culture?
Go ahead.
So, like, we're talking localization, right? We were talking Robotech, or earlier we were talking about Gotcha Man and Battle of the Planets. Same with Transformers. I always found it fascinating and as a kid, pretty annoying, but I get it now. How like I don't know how else to say it, but like I feel like I don't know, like are American kids dumb or what? Because I feel like they just straight up tried to dumb it down for us, right? And they needed to do like the kid like, hey, they need you fun little goofy stuff. So they like we couldn't just do Godzilla, we had to have Godzuki. We couldn't just do Gotcha Man, Battle of the Planets, G-Force, but we had to have 7's Arc 7 guiding the kids, and the same thing happened with Power Rangers. Go ahead.
It's the same problem. Well, the real reason is lobby groups with children's advocacy and protection acts. Okay, for whatever stupid reason, right?
I roll.
Every like there are a lot there are we call them parliamentary. What are they called? Ken, help me out here. There are senators. There are senators, and there are members.
Members of parliament. No,
I keep
you're trying to translate for the U.S. members of Congress.
Yeah, Congress.
But it's like
Congress?
members of parliament or something, right?
It's congressmen. It's congressmen. Okay.
Well, in the U.S., but
there are congressmen who decide it's their life mission to actually protect children. That's
your
great.
Tipper Gores and everybody before
that
her.
is
100%.
That is beautiful. You know what I mean? But you're trying to take down billions of dollars of industries like video games and like cartoons and things like that. And that's arguably what happened to Saturday morning cartoons, which were selling products alongside cartoons. Because the lobby groups basically eventually said, no, you're just trying to sell toys to kids, and we can't have that.
Well,
right?
And I totally get all that. What I guess it's more about like the nature of how if we're just going based on that, the nature of what they say they're sort of protecting kids, it's to really like not just dumb it down and baby it, right? So even Super Friends, the original Super Friends, you had Superman, you had Batman. We couldn't just have that. We had to have Dino Mutt or no,
the Wonder Twins. You needed the Wonder Twins
before the Wonder Twins. It was like kid with brown hair and girl.
Yeah, he had the little cape. She had the bob cut. I remember.
Yeah, and they had bell bottoms, and it was just like we didn't need that.
The Wonder Mutt. You were right. It's Wonder Mutt.
Right. Yeah. We didn't need that. Like, but they felt we needed that. It was the same when they brought over Transformers. It was just like everything got real like kiddie. And
Transformers actually kind of cut the mold in that one. Transformers actually
they were better.
It had goofy episodes. But the real problem is the same thing that is the same issue that the movie industry has today. Freaking why is Prince Adam on freaking Earth? The reason he's on Earth is because the movie industry does not believe that anyone from the ages of 5 to 21 cannot figure out that these aliens are on an alien planet and they need a humanistic connection. Totally. So they say there's a kid here. He comes from Earth and he's not actually from Earth, but he has to
Right.
go back, right? That's the same thing with
Star Wars wasn't a thing.
Yeah, right. That's the thing.
I'm kidding.
But
Yeah,
Star Wars
no.
is made for more adult audiences, right? Again, it's this whole separation between what is PG-13 and what is for kids, right?
Yeah,
That's the biggest problem. Thank God for Shrek. Thank God for How to Train Your Dragon. You know what I mean? Like stories which did not, treat kids like morons. You know what I mean? They were intelligent stories,
totally.
and they had jokes for adults too, right?
Mm-hmm.
So now we're getting anime into the mainstream. Now we're getting all these other stories, and you don't have to be like Astro Boy, which all of a sudden you have to report to a computer to play a game with kids to try and make sure that they understand that this was an actual lesson on how to think. You don't have to have He-Man telling you a moral at the end of the tale. You don't have to have G.I. Joe telling you, knowing is half the battle. Again, the other problem was the educational group said, no, cartoons can't just be half an hour entertainment. They actually have to teach kids a lesson at the end of the day. Absolutely ridiculous, right? That's my take on it.
Those weren't educational groups. Those were people pretending to be educators.
Yeah.
And because at the end of the day, man, like what do we end up teaching in like literature wise, right? If I'm gonna use maybe older people, like for us older folk here in the room, what we learned in schools were things like, of course, like Shakespeare, Mary Shelley's Frankenstein, or whatever. And there was never this need to like. We know that stories inherently teach themes and teach lessons and give you experiences. It was just that extra level of these people saying, no, but then you have to tell them, this. It's just like, it just treated kids like morons. And it was frustrating when you start to go to, this is where you get like some of those people who maybe are actualing when it comes to Macross versus Robotech. And I understand this thought, like people will say like, oh man, the Japanese version was better. It didn't talk down to people. I get that. What I don't get is when you try and tell people that, they're wrong for liking a certain thing. But it's true, man. Japanese culture was very different in terms of how they approached their animation. Obviously, it's for everybody. You guys were talking earlier about manga, and you went from everything from like something like down to that, and then all of a sudden you're talking about a basketball one. Like, and we didn't have a basketball cartoon in the United States. We didn't have the slice of life stuff in the United States. Like we didn't get to have that.
Didn't you get Pro Stars, which had Michael Jordan, Wayne Gretzky?
Okay,
and
yeah,
Bill
Well, that's
better.
the '90s. That's the '90s, and that was because you're popular. You were Michael Jordan was an icon in this.
Right.
He's an iconic character. So was Bo Jackson. So was Wayne Gretzky. I mean, when I agree with Brick, it's like when you're looking at what they were marketing to, because educational groups, it's like, what do you teach your kids? Like my kids love my whole family from 4 to 46 loves Bluey. Bluey has some powerful ass lessons, but there are people and parents, I've seen the videos, they're like, oh, you can't have your kid watch Bluey because it's teaching the wrong things. Well, we watched Arthur. We watched, we watched He-Man. I mean, you're having a guy get shot at every day, a sword trying to stab him, a guy that's trying to kill He-Man and take over another country, take over his kingdom. But it was not here. The thing is, again, but if you look at history, and again, this is coming from a guy who taught social studies for a whole long time, art imitates life. History is taught is written by the winners. So you have a very skewed view and a very I guess restrained culture here, where like, do you think Cutie Honey by Go Nagai could have ever been shown here if it didn't have, a label of 18 plus, possibly pornography? Bubblegum Crisis, as awesome as a series as that was, the music, the animation, the story, 80 Police, all that. Nope, you got to watch out for that, because you can't have a powerful group of women, because again, they would have pushed up the brother Mackie, who was only like 16. They would have done so much more here in the States. And he's right. It's watering down. I mean, you had shows like Mighty Mouse, Danger Mouse, Popeye, all these other shows that were still teaching lessons, but were cartoons. And again, it's like the toys that imitated that stuff. We grew up with Army Men, Cowboys and Indians. I mean, you could go down the whole gamut of things, from Buck Rogers all the way down to Voltron, all the way to Transformers and beyond. It's something that defines our generation and defines the generation before us. Like I'm gonna get on my soapbox for one more second here. I'm gonna say one thing. I don't know, as a dad, Brick, and Ken. I don't know if you guys have gone through this. My mother-in-law is mad because my little one. I have 2 girls. My little one loves Spider-Man, and my mother-in-law told my wife the other day. She's like, "Why does Rory play with boys' toys?" And we're like, you do realize that they market that stuff to kids, boys and girls. Like they show on the box, boys and girls playing with it. And I got so angry. But then I think I'm like, my mother-in-law is 76 years old. She doesn't know shit. She grew up in the South. She doesn't understand. She came from, to money, and she's, an older, wealthy white woman. There's a different mindset she has versus me, who grew up in, where my parents did make money, but they were both poor. And I grew up, then I became poor. And then I knew what it was to know what the shows were, what the life was. And there's such a different view, and you got to give it to your kids, That's me on my box. I'm going to get off of it, but I totally, I wanted to piggyback off of what Brick said, because I love Brick. You dude, look, I love you, brother. Like totally,
Thanks,
totally
man.
love you, man.
Yeah, we could talk forever.
Yeah, want to give a huge shout out to Macback Baby again. Oh my God, thank you, my friend. You are freaking amazing. To Brick's point, I agree. Everything is watered down. The original Goldikin versus Voltron, because the shots missed was made of lead, and it's horrible. It's true, but there were some really horrific visuals in Go Lion. Like the entire gladiator scene. You see people, and you know what? There were a few things slipped in the cracks, actually, from the original cuts.
Yu-Gi-Oh! Look at Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! Kaiba, not Kaiba. What's his name? The guy that was the one with the one eye. I can't remember. He always drinking fruit punch. Man, are we stupid? He's drinking wine. He's a grown ass man drinking wine. I mean, I would drink fruit punch out of a goblet too if I had millions of dollars like that. But still, they're gonna go to the shadow realm. My man, you can put a black hole over the floor, and they're gonna die. They're gonna fall to their death. That's what's gonna happen. Like, culture is so skewed on these things because you don't want to show it. But guess what? Kids can turn on the TV. They go on the internet. They can see far worse.
Yeah.
No, it's true, but there is some value in protecting kids from that type of
No, I totally hear you, Jay, but I'm just curious. When did you start seeing that stuff?
As with most things, like actually no, I'll be truthful about this. I didn't actually start. I was a very innocent kid, like when I was really innocent, and my mom was not a helicopter parent, but not at all actually, but. At the end of the day, she was very cognizant about what I should be watching, and
sure.
I think honestly, when I really started trying to figure it out is when I started. I remember that Force 5 stuff, and I want to find out more of it. So I really went out of my way in high school to go find that stuff, right? And I found anime for the very first time, and that around that time, you know what really triggered me, if anything, is when Duke took a freaking cobra to the chest.
Oh God!
That changed my
in the movie,
perspective. That changed my entire perspective of cartoons forever, right? Optimus Prime dying was the very first incarnation of that whole revelation. But then the very next year, when I saw Duke take a cobra to the chest, and I saw blood in a cartoon, my eyes were like, okay, there's more stuff out there. So there must be something else going on in the world that I'm not understanding.
Sure.
And it's all anime. A lot of people don't realize the Sunbow cartoons was Sunbow. Pretty much Transformers, G.I. Joe, Thundercats, like all of those cartoons were done in Japan. People just don't get it, right?
Yeah.
And the level of animation was just that much higher. Anyway, a lot of people are asking us to keep moving, and
sure, fair enough.
Sorry, we could do this again, folks.
Are they? Anyway.
There was. I saw a couple comments.
But later, let's get to the nerd with a suit.
Yeah.
I want to respond.
Yeah,
to that.
we'll get back to that. But all right, guys. So let's see if you guys pick this one up pretty quick. It's already been mentioned, but to make this a little bit harder, I need all 3 names of this cartoon. All 3 names. That should be a clue already, but I need all 3 names. Ready?
I can give it to you right now before it shows up.
American names. I need all 3 American names. All 3 American names. Ready?
Oh, geez, maybe
and
not.
Go.
Gotcha Man,
Gotcha Man,
G-Force,
Battle
Battle of the
Planets.
Planets.
And
G-Force.
Space Team. Oh, geez.
Spaceketeers? No.
Something Ninja.
Space Force Ninja, something like that. It was,
No?
You guys are a little bit. You guys are going away. You guys are
Going
going
too far.
Japanese
Battle of the
route.
Planets, G-Force,
Force, Gotcha
Gotcha
Man.
Yeah,
Man.
there's one more. Saban. Wait, no. This is when Saban picked it up. Saban's.
Oh, that's
Saban. I didn't watch it when the Saban
Yeah.
ever grabbed it. Yeah.
Saban reissued it for the Cartoon Network way later.
Jabbar. Is it G-Force Guardians of Space?
No.
Oh, I didn't get that.
That's the same name.
Oh, that's right. I just
That's
saw
right.
it pop up
Yep.
on the thing. Eagle Riders.
That's right. Saban's Eagle Rider.
Meh.
Yeah.
No, I'm
Saban
serious.
Rider.
See, there I am now gatekeeping.
Yeah,
No,
that's-
sorry. I will tell you that I do have I'm not a big fan of the Saban stuff, but I get that people like it.
It was remarketable again, man. It really was. All right.
That
let's
was
move-
late, much later, right? Was that
Yeah,
like
much,
2000s?
Yeah.
much later. All right, here's another
Dude,
one. which
real quick, that's foundational right there for me, man. I love this thing.
Yeah,
And this set the template for our, 5-person team where there's like good template or not. There's always the like straightforward paladin like hero. There's the roguish, like you don't know exactly where he's at, sort of number 2. There's the girl. There's the kid that's a little weird, and then there's the big guy. It's Voltron. It's like there's a lot of that sort of thing that
this is
set
Super
up by this.
Sentai. This is Super Sentai. This is
101.
Sentai. Yep.
This is all those things combined into one, right?
Mhm.
It's the Japanese archetype of the team based, the team based.
Even in Dairuger and Volt, what do they call them?
Volts.
Vehicle Voltron.
Yeah.
You get like that little kid guy. It's Silverhawks. You get the whistling. It's Silverhawks in many ways.
Copper
Yep.
Kid.
Very
Yeah.
Silverhawk, yeah.
They took it to another level, though. Dairuger. Oh my god.
This stuff was dope though. I mean, just look at those costumes. I've always been upset that we didn't get more from
Right.
this property
We need
in
more
the modern
toys.
era.
Well, they did stuff in the early 2000s, like the late 90s and early
Mhm. There
2000s
was,
when
like,
they
a
re-brought
video.
it back, and they
Yep.
brought back like the OVA series, which was awesome.
Yeah.
And then they tried to they made it obviously more adult and more geared towards like the teens that were like, oh, they made June like really pretty, like they made they made Joe like that badass Batman. He had like a Batmobile, and he was like cooking dudes with his like the batarang, like with batarangs. I mean, I love that. That whole show is fire.
I mean, it was still here. There was a lot of that happening on this show too, but a lot less of the bell bottoms, a lot less of and just like Brick alluded to earlier, you didn't need seven Zark 7. You didn't need
7.
you didn't need the underwater base, and you didn't need all that crazy.
Yeah, you had 7 Zark 7 and the underwater base, and then every now and then the Princess and what was his American name? Not Mark, whatever. Would show up, and like the animation and art was so off. Even as a kid, I was like, that doesn't look right. That looks weird.
The scene, yeah.
And it was the voice of it was Casey Kasem, who was also in Transformers, right? Who was he in Transformers?
He was Cliff Jumper.
No,
He was Cliff Jumper.
Cliff Jumper.
He was
Cliff
Cliff
Jumper, yeah.
Jumper. And then Scatman Crothers was Jazz. So
Yep.
Right.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so this one will probably stump everybody, unless again this might have just been a British thing or a Canadian thing. I'm not 100% sure, but I do believe this actually was on Nickelodeon for a time. If anybody can get this, you have my respect. Here we go.
Maya
Ready?
the Bee.
Ready, set, go.
Danger Mouse. Oh,
Oh, I don't.
it was too educational for me, so I skipped it. But I remember it. I don't remember the title.
Never mind.
Ken, any thoughts?
No, it just had that look of had that Wizard of Oz kind of look to it, but obviously it's not that.
Nerd with a suit says, "I know this. I know what this is."
I think I saw this. I think I got creeped out by the robot.
What on earth was this?
Yeah, I remember it. I totally remember it, but I don't.
I know the robot looks familiar. But
Didn't his umbrella talk? Didn't the
It
duck
does.
head
The
move-
umbrella.
Yeah.
The umbrella does talk. The umbrella. Talk.
I watched I remember it kind of freaked me
All right.
out. I just don't remember what it was.
All the Canadians are getting it. All the Canadians are getting it, except for Ken. Ken does not
No,
get
I
it.
don't know squat, so
All right.
don't look at me.
Chuckle says Dr. Snuggles. Yes, it was Dr. Snuggles. An amazing series on TV Ontario. Somebody else got it too. It was Russell Griff.
Base.
Griffel. Sorry, Griffel. Russell, good stuff, my friend.
It was
Jabbar,
this and the Magic School Bus. Do you remember the Magicals? Like the
Magic School Bus, yeah.
those were like too educational for me. I was
Yeah.
like, nope, I'm out. The educator.
All right,
I
here's
know,
another.
right?
Here's another one, which let's see if you guys get this one. This one shouldn't be too hard, I don't think. I'm trying to remember now. I don't think this one should be too hard. All right, guys. Actually, this one would be funny. You talk about educational. This one should be a bit of a breeze.
Crap.
I hope. Anyway, ready? 3, 2, 1.
Laser tag.
Laser tag.
There we go. See, I told you it was easy.
That was not a good cartoon.
I was gonna say photon. I was almost gonna say photon because it was at the
No,
same time as laser
Photon.
tag.
You remember the Photon live action show?
Mhm.
Ooh. Ooh.
The helmet with the crappy visor.
What's going on over in Papa? What's going on? They had helmets too, eh?
Oh,
Yeah.
Jabbar.
Laser
Correct.
Tag Academy,
He's
correct.
correct.
That's actually
He's
the formula.
truly correct.
He is. Laser Tag Academy. All right.
You know what's hilarious about that picture? Just again about the dumbing down. You take a cartoon about a toy where you run around and shoot each other. What's missing in that picture?
A dog.
The guns.
The guns.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Yeah. They can't show the guns on the package.
Yeah, it's just like, what are you doing? But anyway, whatever.
All right. Next
Zoe,
one.
Zoe Deschanel. Sorry. Okay.
This one shouldn't be too. This one might be a little bit hard, but let's see if anybody gets it. Ready, guys? 3, 2, 1.
Oh,
Come on.
Schoolhouse Rock?
No, it
Come
looks like
on.
Schoolhouse Rocks.
Nope, it's not Schoolhouse Rocks. Come on.
Oh,
you
but
guys
it was
know.
in the same vein because oh god.
You guys know this one.
Oh,
What are
wait.
they?
No, were these books?
No, they're not books. What are they? Look at them carefully.
Yeah, I know they're the
Toothbrushes.
toothpaste
They're
stuff. I don't know
toothbrushes.
it. I don't know what the dental hygiene,
Toothbrush
but
gang.
the little yellow one reminds me of those old little
Ken is the
books.
closest right now.
With Toothbrush Gang?
Yeah, you're the
Something
closest.
gang.
Yeah.
No, I just guessed.
Well, it's actually on a very technical note. It's Jabbar Robbins is correct. It's the Toothbrush family, right? You were so close there. You were so close.
He looks like
I
the
was
Constitution in the
On a
middle.
guess?
I mean, I didn't think he was a tube of toothpaste. He looks like the Constitution.
Let's see. He is. He's a
Like from
he's a
Schoolhouse
toothpaste.
Rock.
Yeah.
In one episode, he gets wrapped up in like, you know how you squeeze toothpaste out of. In one episode, he actually gets wrapped up like a paper towel, and he's stuck and he can't get out. It's actually a really good, and it's highlighted by the ever so memorable song of "Brush Your Teeth Round and Round." You guys got to look it up. It's pretty trippy. It is a pretty trippy one. Mac Baby, another $2 super sticker. Thank you, my friend. What's Ken's thoughts on Mosho Cyclone Mospeda 2.0?
Oh, wouldn't know. I'd have to get there first. I'm not.
I was
fully
going to say,
caught
you
up
haven't
yet,
gotten to
so.
Mospeada yet, right?
Yeah, not yet.
But this
wait,
is a
like-
toy.
like-
This is a recent
I was gonna
toy
say,
that he's talking
no,
about.
I have gotten to a few episodes of that part of Robotech, right? I'm that guy who's playing catch up on a lot of these franchises right now. I know I like purport myself as an expert when I've had a chance to study it, but when I haven't had a chance to study it, sorry. I've only seen a little bit of the Robotech portion of that series. So, yeah, I'll get there. It's fine.
That's
It's all
great,
good.
man. My
got a few
only
years
regret
left.
from Robotech is we didn't get enough of Yellow Dance or Lance.
Oh
or-
God! Look up! Look up! Look up! The sky is falling. I had that song, man. I had
And
the
just
album.
that whole Cyclone. We didn't get enough of the Cyclone with the blades coming out. All of that, man.
Dun, 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 dun. I had that as a ringtone for one of my phones.
Yeah, it was. I was gonna say that as well. The nerd with a suit, but yeah, I hear you. It was a bill. How a bill becomes a
Yep.
law.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm.
There was a picture of the Constitution in it, but that wasn't the character.
Yes.
Yeah,
It reminded me because I remember Funko did those little Schoolhouse Rocks Funko Pops, and they did the Funko Pop minis.
Yep. All right, this one should be pretty easy. Anyone, first one to get it? 3, 2, 1.
The Pirates of Dark Water.
Water.
Who said it?
I did.
I think
Oh,
Dre got it first.
You got the whole thing.
Yeah,
He said
Pirates of Dark Water.
Water.
I love that show.
Me too,
It was
man.
great.
That was one of
And
the
you know what?
coolest things. And this one popped up on Sundays, at least for us.
Yeah, just like all the good shows. It only had
Cartoon
one
Network.
season.
Yeah, it did. I think it was like what, 13 episodes? It was
13
real
episodes.
short,
that
yeah,
was it.
and it was like, but it has the largest, like it was like Firefly for the
Mm.
kids back then. It was like we wanted more because
Mhm.
you know, like his sword, you dipped it in the ooze and it freed up half the city, and then we were like, oh, like is he
Yep.
gonna free up the rest of the kingdom? Is
Yep.
the whole planet covered in black water, in the dark water? You know, oh, I remember that show.
It had such a narrative that it was going somewhere, and then it just it didn't have enough viewership. It was just one of those sleepers that nobody really knew about. It was really sad.
I mean, it was D&D. You had the rogue,
Yeah.
the you have the spellcaster, and then you have the paladin. You know, like it was the true D&D team. Loved it.
It was crazy.
The toys were amazing. The ship. I remember seeing the ship at Toys R Us once, and like a friend of mine had it, and like I remember you could actually like articulate the sails, and it was an awesome looking toy.
If only, right? But and Humanoids had the same fate. So many other toy lines have the same fate. So, all right.
You know what I haven't seen so far in any of these?
Mm.
Marionettes. Was that a big thing up there in Canada?
Oh,
Remind me.
Thunderbirds.
It sounds
Coming
so
out of
familiar.
the UK, yeah, like Thunderbirds and a bunch of the
Oh,
other-
Super Marionation. Yeah.
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 Was that a thing at all up in
It
Canada?
was. It was very,
Yeah.
very much a big thing.
Because I figure from the UK.
Huge. Yeah.
Hmm.
All right. Here's last two selections. So again, you'll probably get it pretty quick because we sort of talked about it already. 3, 2, 1.
Robotech.
That
Wait, sorry.
was good.
Or
Macross.
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 It's
you know,
Super
he probably-
Dimension Fortress
No.
Macross. There you go.
We're talking North America, so it is Robotech.
Yeah, but it's got
Oh,
the Macross sign.
Rick Hunter, not Hikaru Hito.
This is Rick Hunter. It's not the Hikaru. It is not.
Yeah, is that Hikaru Hito? Oh,
Just like it's supposed to be Fokker, not Fokker in Robotech.
That's how
We
that's
went
how
over
it
that.
goes.
We went over that.
They're not
The
there.
Gerwalk mode.
They're Gerwalks. All right. This one should be pretty quick. 3, 2, 1.
The Littles.
That's right. The Littles.
Love the
I love-
Littles.
I
Love
love-
this
I love the show.
animation.
I love the show growing up. The
Mhm.
opening animation, a wonderful anime where they basically rotoscope everything where they're going right down to the little hole. It was
Mhm.
it was really, really good.
I feel like this inspired Rescue Rangers.
Yeah.
Like that
Yeah.
whole level of people that were, they were inspired, they were working, they were inside their own little microcosm, but it was a macrocosm, and they were dealing with the world around them. It was such a very cool show. Very big ideas.
I agree. I could not agree more. Absolutely. All right,
Great theme
and
song. We are the Littles.
we are the Littles. Doot, doot. All right, and the last selection for tonight. And congratulations to everybody who played. You guys were awesome. Here we go. Ready, set, go.
Oh,
Witch Hunter Robin.
We're on Worth. Is that Carmen San Diego? I don't know. Just made it up.
It's
Looks
not
like-
Carmen San Diego, no.
Is it Witch Hunter Robin?
Okay, I'm cheating. This is from the 90s. It's not from the 80s.
okay.
It's
I don't know what
anime.
this is.
It's anime.
Was
It
Pirates
is
of Dark
not-
Water
it
not from
is-
19? Not in 1990.
It is not
First Dark
anime,
Water?
actually.
No, it looks like
Really?
yeah.
Yeah,
It looks like that U.S. stylized, very 90s art.
It is. It's a French. I believe. No, it's Argentinian, or I believe it's Argentinian. Yeah.
Oh shit. I'm stumped.
I've been stumped the whole time.
I'm shocked that Jabbar does not know this. I really am. Nerd with a suit.
don't know
Kid Chuckle is so close. Kid Chuckle is so close.
Something 9.
Kid Chuckle is so close, and it's not.
Is it Cyborg 9? No.
Oh! You're getting closer, Dre.
What, Cyborg number 9?
No, that's an
Cyber?
anime. That's an anime.
Yeah.
Oh, wait, Brick. What did you say?
Cyber 9.
You are the closest so far.
I'm just guessing. I
You gotta
I
turn
really
the nine-
don't see
turn the
anything.
nine up- turn the 9 upside down.
Cyber
Cyber
6.
6?
Cyber 6. Yes,
That
this is
sounds
Cyber.
familiar. What
Cyber
is
6.
that?
Someone got it. Like
I
literally,
see.
someone got
This
it.
is
Do you have any
Cyber-
more pictures?
Yeah, I'll show you.
Yeah, like I
this is-
I
this
don't
is
remember.
Spell it right.
This is Cyber 6. Yeah.
I mean, you have to look at that. That was so. I mean, also South America has a huge
Oh,
Japanese population, so I mean, anime style would definitely be something
Yeah.
they were very
This
akin
was
to.
this was a great show.
Oh, I
Uh,
totally
by
remember that,
yeah,
especially the dude
by
with the
by
big hair. The
yeah,
the
she was
blonde hair.
she was an educator by day, but by night she was a freedom fighter who was trying to take down a syndicate, and it was a really crazy a really crazy style of animation, originally made in Argentina, I believe, or Brazil. No, it was Brazil. I'm sorry, it was a Brazilian comic book.
So
That's right.
was she trans? Like in one thing, was she gendered as male? Is that in the
It looks like
teacher
she
or
was
whatever?
gendered as male, and then looks like she
if
transformed.
if you were to equate it to today's what people would call today, yes, I believe she was some sort of it probably would have been trans, if anything, because in the daytime she would be a man, and in the nighttime she would be Cyber Six.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
Was it
but,
magic?
was
No,
she,
there was there
but it was
magic involved
more
in this?
no, it was more cross dressing. It was more
Gotcha.
cross dressing than it was. But again, today I think you would look at it as trans. I believe.
That's
I believe.
cool.
well,
I,
I
I was
mean,
thinking Ranma
there've
because
been
I mean,
trans people since the
yeah,
beginning of time.
Yeah,
But yeah.
this was the mid '90s. Like, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Like, there was a lot of, and there are a lot of fans all over the world for this. I mean, I see
I
this
remember
at
seeing this though. Like I remember
cosplay.
being at a convention. I think I went to like an Otakon once, and I remember seeing them talk like a panel about this, where people had talked about this, and I was like, "Oh, this looks cool." And I I remember the Panther because I remember like the animation seeing it once, but I don't remember like I didn't think I would never think it because we weren't programmed to think, oh, that's bad. It's like, oh, cool, like at night you're like this, like is it like your soul like Ranma where like you drowned in the pool and
Mhm.
like suddenly you come back and you get wet, you're a girl.
Mhm.
It's like that's why I asked if there was a mysticism behind it, but if not, that's still freaking cool.
There was a I mean, like, her powers come from this ooze, this liquid here, right? And
Oh, that's
every
dope.
time she finds one of these vials, she actually drinks it because it actually prolongs her life. The
Because why
actual
not?
sorry.
I see. Because why not?
Exactly.
Just
Yeah.
kidding.
Yeah, no, but again, it was a groundbreaking cartoon. Only had the 12 episodes. It was really too bad. It was a really great series.
Was there
Yeah.
anything more
Cool.
like this? Was this like a comic in Brazil? Was this like
I said
you know? I'm
It was a
interested.
Brazilian. Yeah, it was a Brazilian comic. It was a Brazilian comic. That's actually where it first started. This is it right here, right? It was a Brazilian comic from I'm pretty sure it's Brazil. I'm almost 100% sure of it.
Oh, that's Brazilian.
Somebody,
Yeah, that's not Spanish.
yeah,
That's Portuguese.
that's Portuguese. It's got to be Portuguese. Yeah, it was a Brazilian comic book first, and had a great run. And basically, yeah, I think it was actually a Canadian company or a French company, one of the other two. It was either Quebec, who basically took on the. It was such a one of these random things that just happened. One of those magical things that happened in the '90s, and yeah, they made it happen. It was crazy. So yeah, Cyber Six.
I want to look
Yeah,
into
there was
this.
definitely this period in the 90s where like that high tech, sort of cyberpunk but light was kind of all the flair. Didn't they do like was it James Bond? Oh no, Phantom. They brought Phantom
Yeah,
in the
Phantom, the Defenders of
future.
the Earth.
Yeah, but they did like a 2091 or
Yeah,
something where
they
it's
they
very
did
like
that.
cyberpunk. Yeah.
There was also James Bond. There was like Kid James Bond.
Kid James Bond.
There
That's
was
Yeah,
right.
the young James Bond. Yeah,
young James Bond, and then there was a whole bunch like that's where they did a spit. I know they did like an early test of Johnny Quest as like a newer like high techy
Mm,
kind of thing. I mean, because this is all before, mind you, Disney doing
yep.
like Kim Possible and
Yep.
all the shows that we would later see.
Yeah.
But I like the animation style like that. That's drawing me already. Like, and the story sounds so cool. I totally I want to know more now. Like now I'm gonna have to research this because I wish there was toys. Because that
Well,
Panther looks freaking dope.
and then the other one was Sherlock Holmes in the 22nd century, that nerd with the suit punch hat. I
Yeah.
remember that. That was like this time period where they're trying to take old properties and bring them into the future.
But that was like you said, it was like Brick, it was like that time of like, let's get cyberpunk and let's
Right.
let's, like we had to, because we were coming into Y2K, and it was like people were like, oh, you gotta, like, because you had
Yeah.
cops at that time, you had cops coming out, and
Sure.
you had all that stuff, like, as revitalizing. I mean, Centaurians, because I remember, what was it? Isn't Thunder the Barbarian, like, it happens in like 1999? Like,
Oh,
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
so it's
That's
like
right.
they get it. So that's like 77,
Love seeing
and it's like
post-apocalyptic New York.
it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Remember back when 1999 was considered super futuristic? I mean, played XCOM, and the first one was set in 1999, and the second one was set in 2040. And 1999 felt like a long time away, and 2040 felt like, oh, that's not in this lifetime. And now it's almost 2025. I'm like, damn,
Dude,
where'd all the
watch
years
Star
go
Trek.
by?
Look at Star Trek. Look at Star Trek Discovery. 31st century. They jumped. Star Trek was always like in the, like, we knew it was like in the 21st century, but then they were like, nah, screw you. We're gonna go to the 31st century and just like forget all of you. And like it blows my mind, because much like Jay had said, we had that Elon Musk robot that looks like iRobot. It's we're here. What we saw in 2001, 2005, 2008. We're 16 years later, folks. Almost 17 years later. That shit's here. It's crazy.
Yeah.
I know. It's like our
There was a
phone
lot of great
technology
ones.
yeah, sorry.
No.
In
Finish
some
the
ways, our
thought.
technology has advanced, but like space travel is not what we thought it would be, right? Like, yeah, mobile devices are super duper advanced now, like probably even more advanced than we thought they would be back, than what we thought was possible was in the 80s. We also thought we would be colonizing Mars by now. You know what I mean?
It's true.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was just gonna say that there were a bunch of great ones brought up in the chat as I was kind of looking through them, and just like there were a lot of great cartoons, and there were definitely your mainstays, right? But for every He-Man, there were like 20 things that they tried for a season that didn't last.
Yeah.
So
I mean, you can probably tell just through conversations with me, I tend to do the very, very mainstream stuff and get really, really deep into the mainstream stuff. And for me, esoteric is like picking a mainstream thing and then grabbing like the most like obscure, foreign, rare variant of it. So I'm not great with the one season cartoons,
yeah,
the one and done. But then you start to find out some of those were really good.
But that's
Oh,
what's sad,
a
because
lot of them
we lost
were,
those
unfortunately.
IPs.
Yeah.
Like you mentioned Cops earlier. In my own head, Cops was huge, like as a franchise. And
Yeah,
I didn't
no.
realize until decades later, I was like, it was actually kind of a failure. Like, yeah, it did,
Yeah.
maybe better than some of the shows that only had
No.
13 episodes and dropped off, but it didn't do well by any stretch of the imagination. It was like
No.
one of those things that was like, it was supposed to be great. You kind of remember it, but it's kind of a failure too, right? So yeah.
I mean, really, the big ones we know, right? They're the ones that are still around, whether it's He-Man, G.I. Joe, Transformers,
Turtles,
and of course Ninja Turtles. Yeah, it's like those
Thundercats mostly, kind of,
like
right?
to be honest, kind of.
Yeah,
And
we're talking about Robotech if you can count Macross, right? Because Robotech would go dormant for years and years on end, but Macross would keep going. So then it's like, okay, that's still around.
it
Star
killed
Wars
me
is kind of
that-
its own thing.
It
right?
killed me that Robotech didn't have the same mass appeal, but I understood why. But whereas Voltron really, I think, had a little
all
bit more.
Robotech had for
general.
sequels was really that really short-lived Robotech 2 and then Shadow Chronicles, right? There wasn't that much by comparison to Macross doing Frontier 7, 0,
Sure.
Plus,
and Delta, and then but see, here's the thing though, Macross Robotech with Kevin Symbieta, and Eastman, when they had created Riffs to do Riffs at the tabletop game, and then they made Robotech, and then you had, like, they went to the Japanese source material. Like, if you look in, I had those books. They all were Japanese artists, and like the ship designs were like what you would have seen in the cartoon. And then it was like fans that were like traveling in the 80s and 90s to Japan were like, hey, I want to write something about what happened when the SDF-3 leaves Earth.
yeah.
And now we have to create a whole new story. And I mean, that's where you get like all these side stories and you can play them. Like with Dice, it was such a great universe because it was like a multiverse, before we now what we now know as a multiverse, what we used to call alternate dimensions. It's such a cool concept.
Elseworlds, like DC Comics, right?
Oh yes.
How far are you in Robotech now, Ken?
Oh, I did the entire Macross saga plus
Oh, you
select
did.
episodes from the Mospita part and the what do you call it? The middle portion, the Southern Cross
Southern Cross.
portion. The funny thing is I was telling Jay, I was always familiar with the characters because like more than 20 years ago, I watched
Mhm.
Macross Do You Remember Love? So
Mhm.
Min May just stayed with me all these years and the songs and everything like that. And Hikaru slash Rick, I kind of knew him as this like hotshot pilot, and Roy and the whole Misa Hayase or Lisa Hayes, however, all that kind of stayed with me all these years. But the Robotech just got shoved to the side. Right. But because I looked everything up as I was studying Jetfire, because I love that character. I love that toy. You just kind of every time you Google something about Jetfire's history, you find something about Macross or Robotech. So I didn't realize for so many years I hadn't actually watched the series, right?
Yeah, no,
So,
I
or
mean, it
I'd
was
watch
great.
one episode and be done, right? And I'm like,
Storytelling.
I was like, this might be the best 80s cartoon ever.
No, 100%, and in many ways, we were talking about how they kind of had to in localizing stuff here. Sometimes it got sort of aged down or dumbed down. Robotech was one of those that I think didn't suffer a whole lot of that or didn't have to deal with as much of that. For some reason, they were able to still keep a lot of like the stakes and like there are definitely like adult themes. Like just the notion of like a booby trap, right? Like what is this giant piece of technology? This notion that maybe aliens out there might resemble us and might actually end up being quite similar to us. Like all of that stuff was fascinating. The notion of like Max and Miriam getting together and having a kid together, and they're obviously they're like one's an alien, one is not. All of that stuff was just like really heady stuff that I think they presented to young people but didn't, they didn't
Well, that's
have
why I
to.
really wanted to bring Jay in for the history segment, because I'm sitting there, I'm like, I have pieces of the history, but he's been ingrained in it forever. He wasn't
Mhm,
like me where I dipped in and out and then finally just
mhm.
binged it. Just said screw it and binged it, right? But I'll keep you all in mind if I want to do more anime stuff, because for me, most of my anime was Gundam stuff. And when I say Gundam, I literally mean Wing, Seed, and the most Americanized,
Mhm.
Gundams, Gundam Wing and Gundam Seed, and a little bit of the Universal Century stuff, right?
Yeah.
So I'll keep you all in mind.
But Brick,
Right.
you brought up a good point when you're saying like adult themes that were not watered down. Yellow Dancer.
Right.
Yellow Dancer was
Yeah.
everybody thought Yellow
Yeah.
Dancer, even in the show, they thought
Mhm.
Yellow Dancer was a girl.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
when you find out that it's a dude, everybody was like, "Oh,"
Right.
and that's when he sang the song at the end, "Look up, the sky is falling." Like, I mean,
Mhm.
the meaning and the symbolism behind the words, it was
Yeah.
so powerful. I mean, a concept that my 15-year-old brain was like, cool music. But now then like the later years when I first got watching Macross and Macross 7 and listening to Firebomber, it's like, wow, like this was like really deep. Like they really, like, why is it we don't like Venture Brothers? Like, why don't we have more shows like Ben 10? Ben 10. That's like, I want something deep
I
where
missed that. Yeah.
you feel, you know what I'm saying? Like where I
That
feel that I'm
was like
invested. I'm
Mhm.
invested in the characters and the storytelling. This is where it comes back full circle to what we said before about lore. I need a story that's going to keep me involved. I don't care about sequelitis, live
Right.
actions. What
Right.
happened? Like Optimus Prime, we all love Transformers, and the movie set us up for the future episodes. Great.
Mhm.
But why did the Matrix of Leadership have to be passed? What was the story behind that? Why did
Yeah.
we find out about the quintessons? What
That's
do
what
we,
that's what I was always curious about, that it
To
kind of
sell more
never went into.
toys.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
As the adult me, yeah, it's to sell more toys. But as the now adult me collectors, like there's such a deep story that these guys, and when you see them at conventions, these guys, and you listen to their interviews, they're like they have full on books of written history of
Well,
like Eternia and like Cybertron, and like we get samples of this in like Transformers Prime and Beast Wars and Beast Machines, where they're like touching on this, but then they're not really saying anything. And then like like I said, in other shows, like more American shows like Ben 10 and
Mhm.
Venture Brothers, and I can go down the list of other shows that we got off of Cartoon Network, that Cartoon Network era, that
Mhm.
really, in like, yeah, the toys were cool, the Omnitrix looked cool, Toys R Us was sold me on it. as an adult. I was a 25-year-old kid, adult buying the Omnitrix, you know.
Yeah.
But it's the fact that you knew what to do to get me interested. Not just the kid, the adult in me saying, "Wow, there's these real stories about a kid whose grandfather is tied to these as an alien bounty hunter."
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
whoa.
Real quick, I saw this Baldog and was totally thinking about it and didn't bring it up, but Star Blazers 100%. Harlock was another one. Like I always kind of blend that stuff, but there was some really great, fantastic out of the box thinking coming out of Japan for sure. And of course, it's always sort of grass is greener, and to us, everything they did felt so fresh and so different for real reasons. But that aside, if you just look at like the breadth of anime, like what is possible in the world of manga and anime, whether it was in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or now, was just so much broader than what can happen in American comics or American cartoons. And I'm talking US. So I don't know. They just seem to hit so many good concepts, and as a result, they got to play more. I guess we kind of benefited from it because at the end of the day, you get these American producers who are like, let's cherry pick these things that are clearly already thought through and bring it here, and you get a version of it. But I don't know.
Yeah, and you know what? It's a testament today that shows like Avatar: The Last Airbender, and many of the shows that came after that.
Good pull.
American productions, right? And even a lot of the the DC Direct stuff. You know what I mean? They're all animated in Korea now. You know what I mean? They all have much more adult themes.
The Simpsons taught me about that. Yes.
Sorry. Yeah. And it's just a great time that we now inhabit, right? So yeah, it's amazing that, and it really did come from Robotech. Really was the genesis of all that, because again, as you said, it wasn't afraid to tackle some of these harder issues. Death. With Roy. With Roy Fokker.
Or Ben Dixon.
Or
Ben Dixon when he died, right?
Yeah. All of them, right? And of course, like you said, the cross dressing, right? The singer, right? Like it's
yeah. Here, just since we're there, how about the notion that the people that you considered the villains the entire time, there may be other, there's this bigger, like all of that. So there's a bigger threat, and we
like how you go from the Zentradi to the Masters. You mean like
or even before that, there's the Zentradi that we become familiar with, and then the ones that are out there. So
so like Britai, who turns into a good guy, but then like all of a sudden,
he becomes because he decided to go. They created the micronizing chamber so they could actually like interact better with humans, but still be Zentradi. You then had, like you said, the love that interspecies relationships. You have the sharing of technology. I love that idea though. Like you said, the greater image. Like, hey, guess what? You thought Britai and the Zentradi were bad. Hey, Invid Invasion of the Robotech Masters are coming. They're just as worse.
And did they not re-release the figures exactly like they were supposed to be? But in Exo Squad, didn't they come back a second time?
They released some of the things, the Battloids, what do they call them? That come out of
they had the Destroid.
They had the Destroids that sort of defended the SDF one, were kind of at one point picked up by Exo Squad. There was this whole like the hope was from some of the producers that Exo Squad would sort of be a continuation.
Yeah.
They could kind of link the two somehow. But
they made Invid. I knew they made the Invid ship because they had that as one of the things you could say. But it was at that point that toy line was so bad, and the cartoon was failing because there was no good writing.
Too bad.
It was
Exo Squad started out great.
It did.
How about this? I don't know, like what you were thinking, Jay, but like we got real nostalgic, and you know me. I love my nostalgic properties, but I also love the new stuff. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to like be all like, oh, everything was so great back in the day. The cartoons, animation now is. There's a lot of really great animation coming. You just named a bunch, right? You mentioned like Avatar, which I think is like some of the best
Some of the best.
animation. I love the storytelling of that. I can't wait for the new series. But even things like that team ended up doing the Dragon Prince. That is now, I think, like their subtitle is now Mystery of Erebos, which is some great high fantasy stuff.
You
Beautiful
just
dragons.
came back. You just came back from watching the Legend of the Rohirrim. I think that you mentioned that.
I did. Yes, but this old man did. Okay, so my show started at 7. I didn't finish it. I was like, I've had such a long day. This is my first day of break, but I was like, I want to treat myself. I'm gonna go watch it. I started getting sleepy, and I was just like, hey, can I get a refund? I'll come back and watch the rest of it. And then it was also, I saw your text. I was like, oh yeah, let me go home and hang out with Mega J and talk cartoons. So
shoot some Red Bull and
Yeah, but
I'm interacting and you guys are fun. So you keep me.
The
movie was great. Sorry, I want to say this. I don't want to take away from the movie. The movie was great.
The War of the Rohirrim? Okay.
Yeah, it was really good. I was like, but I want to watch it and enjoy it. But I didn't finish it.
I don't think there's another one. Okay. No, but there's a lot of great animated shows right now that they're just coming out. I mean, like, like Master Universe Revolution. I mean, like Revolution, like incredible.
Yep.
You know what
loved
I mean?
it.
And people just need to give it a chance, really.
We had a fan. You had a fan write it.
Blue Eye Samurai. If you're sleeping on that, go watch it. It's brilliant. You were mentioning again a little bit different, but animation. You were mentioning Secret Level.
Yeah, just finished watching most of them. So good, so good.
I had no idea that was coming out. I kind of remembered it. It's the guy who did Deadpool, right?
Yeah, it was actually Love Robots and something like that. Love, Death, and Robots. I think that's the one who actually did it. And it's a great. I'm loving it profusely. It's amazing. If anybody hasn't seen it, I highly recommend it.
Given the concept of what Secret Level is,
it literally is just a whole bunch of it's levels from video games or board games or basically anything to do with gaming, right? Like whether it be role playing games or board games or like Risk or strategy games or anything like that. And what happens if the stories they don't tell, right? It's these little side stories that perhaps you didn't know about, right? And it's fascinating, like I believe, and I'm not 100% sure, but there was a web series from Warhammer 40K by just one guy. He literally animated the whole thing. It was called Astartes, and I believe he did the Warhammer 40K episode because it has that signature. It has the same signature that he did. Just this fast-paced blitzing action, and it's amazing. But it's not for the faint of heart. I mean, like Pac-Man alone was just ridiculous. Like that threw me for a loop. Pac-Man completely.
I can't wait to see that.
And apparently Namco didn't know what to think of it, but they loved it. So I mean, like that tells you a lot. You know what I mean? That tells you a whole lot. So I want to show this. I don't know if it's going to work because my computer's acting kind of funny, but I love this opening animation from Cyber 6. Let's see if it'll run. It might not. So if it starts to run choppy, I'm just going to stop it. But I really do encourage everybody to take a look at Cyber 6, CYBERSIX on YouTube. You guys probably will not regret it. Here, take a look at this, guys. Let's see if it'll run. I don't know if it will. It looks like it's having a really hard time. Where's the audio? There's no audio. Oh, that sucks. I'll show the animation. There's no audio, but you guys got to set the. It's too bad there's no audio because it's actually a really nice song in the beginning. But here, you guys should definitely check this out.
Can I ask? Do you think the animation studio was the same studio that behind the Batman? Because it looks just like CW's The Batman cartoon that they did in the early 2000s, where it's that kind of like it wants to be this, like it's not anime, but it's very like dark. It's very Batman, and the Batman even had a movie. It did 5 seasons. It was really good.
I know what you're saying. It's very possible. I mean, like I said, around this time, Korean animation was becoming a really big thing, and I think it was Cineplex who was doing this series. They could have easily outsourced this to a Korean company, Again, it's choppy. It's going choppy, but you get the gist of it. The animation is just absolutely wild, right?
Yeah,
and I
it's
do
cool.
I do encourage everybody to take a look at Cyber 6.
Yeah, sounds
It was
brilliant.
that 90s type of extreme type of animation, you know what I mean, where not the animation so much as the style.
Yeah, you could have just shown that last thing with the title treatment and the glowing green, and I was like, yeah, that's totally 90s.
Yeah.
I know exactly when that came out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It was just that type of era at the time, right? There were
like someone just mentioned HBO Spawn animation, same era, same time period. Everyone
but
was chasing that move.
Spawn was not animated nearly as well as this. Spawn's animation was terrible, like in comparison. I swear to God, like there was still this, especially around that time, there was still this stigma around Japanese animation, and the animation houses here in North America were like, no, absolutely not. We will not be copying those heathens. How dare they try to come into North America? We own North America. It was just one of those crazy things. Guys, I want to thank you guys for joining us tonight. It's been absolutely crazy. Mac Baby, sorry we were talking so much. I didn't even realize. Mosho, thank you so much for the $2 super sticker. Mosho Toy Cyclone is released in Q1 of 2025. Most paid at 2.0.
Okay.
Thank you, brother. Thank you, brother. Appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a good looking.
Mohan. Korea is where American cartoons are made now. It's true. They used to be Japan, but Japan got too expensive. Japan got ridiculously expensive. For a while, Madhouse was doing everything. Madhouse was just doing everything North American related, and they were just charging up the ass. Love the show, Cyber 6. I used to watch it at Sheridan in the computer lab. Yes, indeed. Haven't thought about it in years. Yeah, we went through a lot of great memories today, guys, and but I think this deserves a second show. We'll probably circle back to this in the new year. I would love it if you guys could bring some of your favorite shows and have some stuff ready. And I would like to see everyone's top 10 next time. I think top 10 creations of yesteryear. I think we'll have a lot of overlap, but I think that we'll also be able to talk a lot about all things 80s related and just have a blast with it. Brick, what are you working on, my friend, and how can people reach you?
Oh man, I feel like I'm working on so many things that never get released. But every Sunday I do the Brick Something News, and I put news in quotes because it's really me and somebody hanging out looking at a bunch of geeky things, whether it's current or not. And it's sort of like this, but not as this was like a great deep dive into a particular topic where it's like, hey, let's look at stuff on the internet, talk about it, and geek out. So that's Sundays, Pacific time, 3:45. But also, Oz of the Ostradamus Toys channel and I are sort of reviving our Four Horsemen stuff. We were doing Legion's class, and we're going to be bringing that back and really kind of like doing some looks at like kind of introductory looks for folks who are, I don't know, Legion's curious, if you will, or Four Horsemen's curious, but don't really know much about it or don't know how to get into it or whatever, or just want to talk to other people about it. We're doing that. Legion's class, that'll be between me and Oz. And I love Masterverse toys. Like these are the kind of like the I don't know, the step kids that unfortunately, and not sorry, that's a bad thing to say, but I feel like Masterverse doesn't get the love and that it deserves, and so does Cobweb. And we're doing a show called Into the Masterverse together around that. So trying to get that stuff together. Just keep looking out for the Brick Something channel for all of that. And I love this. Like if there are a bunch of folks in the chat who are like naming stuff, I like feel like we barely got to scratch the surface on some of that, but I would love to reach out on Instagram at brick.something and let's talk nerd.
Awesome. Ken, what are you working on, my friend, and how can people reach you?
Yeah, so I'm done for 2024 as far as like histories and pre-produced content is. I might do a live stream out of nowhere, not really sure, but for those who haven't seen it already, I did put up a History of Mask Part 2, but I didn't want to call it a Part 2 because people are like, oh, I don't want to watch this until I've seen Part 1. So I just called it The Downfall and Legacy of Mask, and I focused on the later parts of the line because I don't feel there's a whole lot of coverage on that. Otherwise, just working on a few unproduced toys videos, like mostly GI Joe related, like looking at unproduced toy concepts that could have made it into the pipeline but didn't. And then there's obviously, like we talked about earlier, the history of Robotech, the Macross saga portion of it with me and Jay to get released sometime. I don't know. It's on the calendar for February right now. We'll see where it shakes out by the end of it. So yeah, that's it. Oh, Justin Mohan asked any Delta 17 updates. Okay, so the Joe Fest 2-pack exclusive has been locked down. We cannot reveal what it is yet. But yeah, we'll have news. We have packaging samples now for the Hailstorm, so we now know what that looks like. We're just waiting for a good time to go live. Steve has left town for a few days, which is why you saw me looking at my phone earlier. I wasn't ignoring the stream, but I have to fulfill orders while he's not around. So, yeah, he's left me with some work for the Christmas holidays. So that's what's going on there. So there's your update.
Awesome. And Dre, what are you working on, my friend? How can people reach you?
So I actually have a lot, and I kind of talked about this earlier, but I'm glad to actually get a larger platform to kind of talk about it. So I'm actually going to be rebranding my whole channel. It's you guys have heard it's like I've kind of been under the moniker the Geek Dad. It's kind of been a thing. I'm starting a solo podcast that's going to start possibly early February 2025. It's going to be Father Figures. So it's going to be about what I've done as a dad with my children, and how we collect, how collecting is kind of grown and changed, and it'll still have toy video reviews, and you'll see hot toy stuff in there, but it's really going to be more focusing around, what the trends are for kids and kind of going towards that. But to also stay in the same realm of loving my movie stuff and toy stuff. Dave's Dimension, my brother from another mother, he and I are going to be getting together and bringing back our podcast, The Outer Dimensions, with Dre and Dave. We're going to be doing that, I think, on Friday nights or Saturday nights. We haven't figured it out yet. But it's going to basically be focusing on those unsung hero weird movies of the, 70s, 80s, 90s, and current that people don't really know about. And it's going to be focusing on the three genres: action, sci-fi, and horror. We do sometimes sprinkle in comedy in there, and we do sometimes do top fives, but it's just me and my best friend just kind of, heckling each other on why we think a movie's good, and we sometimes will talk about modern stuff, but it is going to be starting up in mid-January again. And you can find me on Instagram at Dre of the Collector Safe Space. That's going to see, I'm going to keep that name the way it is, but the YouTube channel will probably change.
Cool. All right, guys, definitely subscribe to Dre on his channel, Brick Something on his channel, of course, Ken over at Toy Connections. These guys are amazing creators, and they definitely deserve likes and follows. And, of course, they're doing deep dives into so many different aspects of geekdom. And, of course, Dre's doing his own thing.
It's my dad robe, baby. I got this I was going to do cosplay Spider-Man. Was it Peter B. Parker?
Oh, Peter
Parker. I did this last year, and I kept the robe, and it was because my daughter was Mary, and we had so much fun. I am jealous of you because I want one, and I am kicking myself. I will eventually get one.
The Ghost of Christmas Past, Present, Future, and Beyond. Guys, thank you so much for joining. Everybody's flexing now. Everybody's flexing.
Oh man. Oh wait. Okay, I'll flex.
Flex.
We're gonna keep it old school.
Man, if you guys are gonna flex,
look at that.
Mondo Batman, folks. Let me take the blur. I'll take the blur off so y'all could enjoy seeing this beautiful.
Ooh, look at that trap. Is there an ape in there? Does an ape handle that trap?
That's from Two in the Box.
Actually, I better not do that. We got some photosensitive people around. Yeah.
So if you guys don't collect Mondo, this is the Mondo Batman.
Trap is full.
Yeah. That's talk about great animation, man.
Exactly. This is my anniversary gift from my wife and my Christmas gift. I was very happy with this.
Nice.
That is so cool. All right, guys. Thank you so much for being here this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure. I want to wish everybody out there a very safe and happy holiday season.
Yeah.
For those of you who celebrated, Happy New Year. I guess someone said Kwanzaa, so joyous Kwanzaa.
Kwanzaa,
Sorry,
Festivus.
Kwanzaa. Festivus. Anybody celebrating Festivus?
Hey, I aired my grievances. And I put up the Festivus poll. We're good.
Well, feats of strength are next, Dre. You and I are going for feats of strength.
Exactly.
And of course, everybody out there, happy Hanukkah to everybody out there as well. And of course, to everybody, whatever holiday you're celebrating, I hope it is happy and safe. And to everybody else out there in the rest of the world who's maybe having a difficult time, there are a lot of us out there right now. Our hearts go out to you. Please be well and stay safe. And if you guys, any of you have friends and family who are in those different situations, our hearts go out to you, and we wish you the best. Guys, it's been amazing hanging out with you. Thank you so much. As always, I want to thank my good friends Dre, Brick Something, Toy Connections. Follow each and every one of these guys on their channels. They are the best. Thank you so much for your support, everybody. It really means the world to me. And of course, I do have to thank Mac Baby. You are freaking the man. You are they for sure. Thank you so much for everything. You are just amazing. Mac Baby, have a good night. Everybody else, have a good night as well. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for liking, commenting, and subscribing to all these guys' channels. Hope you're all doing well, staying safe. Once again, happy holidays to everybody. Good journey. And geek proud, everybody. Take care.